Fáilte Ribh Galéir Cudí on Dexcom Stadium Gunday Goliv. You are very welcome, everybody, to the Dexcom Stadium in County Galway for today's semi-final doubleheader, which we'll see first against fourth, the Wolfhounds against Britton Thunder. But first, 12 o'clock kickoff today sees the Clovers take on the Gwalia Lightning, a competition that started in the dead of winter, freezing cold and dark nights. Comes to a head with the sun shining in Galway for a miraculous change, and on the line, the right to take on the winner of the other semi-final in the grand final of this competition. It's going to be a cracking day, full of rugby and full of incident. We're in the build-up to it now. Kick-off will be at 12 o'clock. An atmosphere building in the Dexcom Stadium in Galway. Fiona, two teams fully stacked. It's knockout rugby. This is what you want to see.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see, and what a day for it here as well. I haven't been to the new stadium. It looks unreal here in Connacht, but yeah, this game in particular, it's an exciting one, knockout rugby. But as you said, two teams fully stacked. We see Enya Breen came back from injury there recently and has just moved into 10. A loaded backline, two international wingers. But for Gwalia Lightning as well, you've Bryony King. I mean, she's playing out of her skin in the back row. Hopkins in particular is someone who's a big, strong ball carrier, so I'm expecting really good things at the breakdown today as well for both teams.
Is that switch at 10 for the Clovers, is that a big problem? It's not the first choice 10, but obviously Enya Breen is Enya Breen, so...
Yeah, look, what happened, obviously Katrina Finn got injured, then Kate Flannery, she's on the bench today. I mean, she's an exceptional player. She came in last week, but I think when Enya went into 10 and moved from that 12 position in that last game, it's about form and how you control the game, and I think Enya in particular was delighted with how that went in that second half. But I'm sure Kate Flannery on the bench is going to be buzzing to come on. But then with Enya Breen, as you said, Enya Breen, the legend, she can also push to 12, so it gives you options there as well.
The last two games between these two sides, 5-point difference and a 4-point difference. These are two one-score games. Presumably, we're expecting that again today.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a very close contest, and this competition, I think this year we've seen a lot of tight games, which hadn't happened in previous years, but certainly semi-final time, knockout rugby, this is the first time they've had semi-finals as well. I think it's exciting, and when it's such small margins, you know, stuff like set piece, you've got to nail the detail around that. But I think looking at the team sheets as well, this is probably both teams' strongest side that they can put out, bar a couple of injuries, so it's really going to be a belter of a game.
With games like this, I mean, like regular season, Clovers have the two wins under their belt. This is knockout stuff, 80 minutes. How do you prepare for that mentally to get your head into you only have 80 minutes to do this kind of mentality? Yeah,
look, and as well as that, I suppose Gwalia have travelled over, you know, that's the competition. It's essentially obviously a home game, I would imagine, from Clovers. A lot of Connacht girls have played in this stadium, so it's the mentality, I suppose, around getting over, getting your head set, and that 80 minutes, it's knockout rugby. If you can't get up for that as a player, there's something seriously wrong, and I know these players, especially on the Clovers, they will be itching to go. And as I said, some of them might be a little bit aggrieved as well at selection. We know that the Six Nations squads came out, so what a better chance if you didn't make that squad to be able to get out and put on a show here today.
Well, it's knockout rugby, and it's 80 minutes from a final for both of these teams. We're going to be going to kick off for 12 o'clock, but before that, we spoke to both coaches just a short time ago. Dennis, two clashes already this season against Gwalia, both very, very close encounters. Are you expecting something the same today?
Yeah, very similar. I suppose in the past we've probably struggled with the big ball carriers in the middle, and discipline has kind of let us down before, so it's an area we needed to tidy up, and especially in cup rugby, so we need to be very clean around our discipline and physically imposing ourselves early in the game.
Given the two wins and the fact that there was only the Wolfhounds losses, you'd be going into this game favourites. Is that something that you enjoy, or is that pressure?
We haven't really thought about it. Look, I think they've earned the right to go in here favourites of what they've done over the season. So, but look, it all comes down, when it comes to cup rugby, anything can happen. Like, we focus on ourselves and how we want to play our game. So I'm just hopeful now that we can put in a performance, in an 80-minute performance.
Obviously, you'd be loath to say that you've got any eye on the final with a semi-final in front of you. Has there been any talk of that? Is that kind of thing you want to keep out of the camp?
No, to be fair, there hasn't been any talk about it. So I wasn't really kind of trying to keep it out there. They're focused on this game and kind of getting the job done, and then we can just go from there. So it's first things first is getting the win here.
And finally, there's still like a cracking day for it, which is kind of unexpected. Conditions throughout the competition have been heavy at times and cold at times. Does this change how you start or how you plan your game?
A small bit in terms of, because we probably, against the Wolfhounds, there was a wind and we probably struggled to get out of our own half. So managing the wind was poor. So especially, I suppose today it's free-flowing rugby, but we still got to execute in certain areas and kind of stick to script and not go off that. That's the only worry about days like this. But look, it's a great day for a game of rugby, and we're hoping for a good challenge.
Cracking, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Kat, it's knockout rugby, it's semi-final rugby. How excited are you guys?
Oh, really excited. We know that we've had a tough run the last couple of games, but as it stands today, anything can happen. So the girls are really excited for this game today. We've come close the last 2 games and encounters we've had with the Clovers, so and the weather today should lead to a really exciting game.
That was going to be my next question. 5 points and 4 points. Both of these are one-score games.
Yeah.
Is that a big motivator coming into this match?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we showed in both games that we were capable of winning those, just missed opportunities, but we also know that we're able to compete with the Clovers. We play a similar sort of game, similar brand, so it'll be a really exciting encounter today.
In terms of your weapons and your threats, you've obviously come very fully stacked. This is a strong team. Where do you think you're strongest?
I think we're looking at we've gone with Isla McMullen today in the centre partnership to give us some attacking prowess there, because Isla's a really young player, but she's certainly shown her attacking capabilities. I think our back row is really strong in terms of the carriers that we have there. We're hoping to get back to our offloading ways today with the team that we've put out.
It's not too long a distance, but still fair play to those who've travelled over and made their own hoodies as well for the Lightning team. You must be delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of our biggest things that we speak about as a team is our culture and our environment, and the girls have made the effort to make our own doodle hoodies, because parents coming across wanted something to show their support, so it's fantastic to see a couple of the parents in the crowd wearing those today.
So after 80 minutes you're going to be hoping for the result. What do you need to do to get that?
We need to relax, I think, is one of our biggest things, and we need a performance today. We need to look at how we started the season, our offloading game, and how we move the ball. We're really hoping that we'll see that today from the girls.
Smashing, go well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Katrina Nicholas McLaughlin, the head coach of the Gwalia Lightning, a team that really put the Clovers to it on 2 occasions in the regular season. Just 5 and 4 points between the two in separate games, and you've got to feel there's a sense of excitement about that. Both of these teams are familiar with each other. They know the strengths, they know the weaknesses, they know what they need to focus on to get a result today. And if we look at that league table, well, it tells a bit of a lie when we look at number 2, Clovers, on 39 points and Gwalia on 25. Suggests a 14-point difference between them in the table. But in both of those one-score games, a try in each of those games would have told a very, very different story, and Gwalia would be sitting in second. These teams are much, much closer in terms of standard and ability on the pitch than that particular league standing would indicate. That being said, the Clovers have got a 100% record. No matter how close it was, the result at the end of the day is the stat that counts. Gwalia, however, will see this as their chance to go third time lucky against heavily favoured Clovers side, and this is the starting team for that heavily favoured team. The front row, familiar to those who have been following the side: Siobhan McCarthy, Beth Butterman and Cy McGrath, a scrummaging unit, those three. Ruth Campbell and Eve Flynn are in the second row. Evine McGrath, Ailish Quinn and Jemima Adams-Verling, a massive prospect, the number 8 huge ball carrying threat. In the back line, it's Emily Lane and Enya Breen moved from centre to 10. On the wings, Anna McGann and Bevan Parsons, and what a speed we have on both of those wings. In the centre, Niamh Murphy and Alana McInerney, and superstar Aoife Corey at full back. Bench has Emma Dunnican, Ella Burns, Eilish Cahill, Faith Oviawe, Rosie Searle, Katie Whelan, Kate Flannery and Chisholm Aguero. No shortage of talent on that bench for Dennis Fogarty's side. For Gwalia Lightning, they've come fully stacked as well. That front row, Chloe Thomas Bradley and Jenny Scoble at loose and tight head respectively, but Molly Reardon, who had put in such a massive game against the Wolfhounds last time out, is a real totem for this Gwalia Lightning team. Ala Pears and Kira Pearce are in the second row. Gwennon Hopkins, Anwen Owen and Bryony King, an absolute champ of a number 8 for Gwalia Lightning. Also, speaking of Lightning, number 9, Sian Jones, lightning quick. The Welsh international at 10, it's Carrie Hughes, Kat Richards and the evergreen Courtney Greenaway on the wings. In the centre, spoken about by their coach, Isla McMullen with her pace. Kelsey Webster joins her in the centre and Nikita Prothero at full back. On the bench, Fionn Corsack, Crystal James, Cerise Cumming, Abby Fleming, Lily Terry, Lily Hawkins, Molly Anderson-Thomas and Caitlin Lewis. Again, no shortage of options on the bench for both of those teams, and I think it's going to come down to benches by the time we get towards the 80-minute mark. Joined in commentary today, I am Dan Mooney alongside Fiona Hayes. Fiona, this is exciting.
Yeah, and what a day we have here as well, Dan. The sun is shining. It's any rugby player's dream to play on this pitch as well. It's a lovely surface. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be a cracking game, and I know we spoke before the match about the areas, and I spoke about the pack in particular. Obviously, being in the pack, I always think yes, but looking at those two back lines, unbelievable. And you spoke about Courtney Greenway there, just international wingers everywhere on these both squads, so it's about how to get the ball out to them and how to give them space out there, and we'll see some good tries.
Well, there's a bit of a reshuffle for the Clovers side. Moving in your Breen to 10 means that the centre partnership is Niamh Murphy and Alana McInerney. Now, it was mentioned by the Gwalia head coach Katrina Nicholas McLaughlin that Isla McMullen has been brought in for her pace. Is that something that Clovers will now need to worry about?
I think if you look at Niamh Murphy in particular, she came off the bench the last day. Probably wouldn't be not too happy to be starting that game because she's had an outstanding tournament so far. So she's got pace, and Lana McInerney, I coached her as well. She's a player that's played on the wing, so I think they'll be okay in there. I suppose in that centre area in particular, it's about trying to find that kind of space, and full backs will have their hands full with both these two centres if they break that gain line.
Well, there was quite the reception from the travelling Gwalia Lightning fans. It's not too long a journey from Wales, but long enough for the team to come all the way here. And we are moments away from kick-off. And these teams, 80 minutes, one of these two teams, 80 minutes away from a place in the final of the Celtic Challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
We are set for a ding-dong game. Just the one score, as mentioned, between the two sides when they faced off in the regular season, suggests that we are going to be looking at a very closely contested game at the Dexcom Stadium in Galway. And we are underway. The first kickoff really well collected, and Clover is looking to start this game with energy, pace, and Lane is at the back, whipping into midfield. Hard carry.
Use it.
Lane working again, dropping it back in, and Yabreen puts a big boot on that one. It's going to drop just outside for Prothero, and Prothero returning it. She looks up and sees where the space is and sidesteps, and Jemima Adams-Verling strips it from her in the tackle. An outstanding rip from the number 8, and Clovers have turned over ball. Nikita Prothero won't be happy with that. Into midfield it goes, and speaking of not happy about that, I believe that was Siobhan McCarthy who just spills it forward. Not under any great pressure either, Fee.
No, but you can see straight away the hand is up, very apologetic, but really you can see what they're trying to do here. The Clovers, Beth Bunimer gets to that ruck straight away. She wants to give the ball out and try and find it wide, but both teams, I suppose, trying to feel each other out. But Gemma Adams-Verling there, that strip in the tackle was superb, and Siobhan McCarthy will get a chance here, I suppose, to make up for that knock on with this scrum.
Well, it is two outstanding front rows. We saw Chloe Thomas-Bradley and Jenny Scoble throughout this competition, and they're already eager to get their shove on, and it's picked from the back and switched back on the inside. Sian Jones opting to change angles, having to step back inside into traffic. There's the carry, Brianny King straight away, the number 8. That's the impact she can have. Ruth Campbell maybe caught offside. Huge carry through midfield, and that is outstanding work from Gwalia. Sian Jones has the knock-on advantage coming. Lovely little pop-up, and it's a burst through the middle, and suddenly there's space opening up. It's a massive rampaging run from Gwennon Hopkins all the way to the edge of the 22. Spinning out towards the touchline, and touchline does its job, slowing it down, but this is better stuff from Gwalia Lightning. Molly Reardon once again so busy, the number 2. Another big carry, this time from Ciara Pearce. Gwalia Lightning, it's a big carrying threat they have as Bríony King goes again. And once again, the sound of Gwennan Hopkins absolutely milling into players that carries her all the time. Kelsey Webster's on it. Reardon again has a think about it and then pops it outside, and the wing stepping in. Players queuing up as King once again goes 3 carries in probably about 6 phases.
Step.
Pearce going in as support. Cian Jones is at the bottom and wants it. That's better rucking from the Clovers, but good continuity from Gwalia Lightning. Molly Reardon gets a knee on the ground. Another carry through soft shoulders. The blue and yellow lining up. Surely the try line coming. Ball is available. Clovers thought they had hands on that. Gwalia doing just about enough to resource it for a finish. Still having, and through the hands and over the try line, and it is finished. Ala Pearce gets the grounding to the right hand side of the post, and it started with a rip-roaring run through the middle by Gwennan Hopkins from halfway all the way up to the 22, and you could just feel the momentum building behind Gwalia Lightning, Fiona, all the way through that.
Yeah, unbelievable line break there from Hopkins, but watch the continuity. You can see they're just sticking nice and tight, and Pearce just over the line. Her shape to get under nice and low there, and you can see that this Gwalia Lightning team are really up for it. How they're phasing, they're going side to side, trying to stretch that Clovers defence, and in the end beat them straight down the middle with that pick and go.
And the assist was from Bríony King as well, showing hands at a time when perhaps she was expected to carry. Carrie Hughes slots that through the posts to make it 7-0 to the visiting side. Not the start that Dennis Fogarty would have wanted for the Clovers.
No, but look, as I said, it's unbelievable play by Gwalia Lightning. They kept the pace up, they kept it nice and tight, and really put that Clovers under pressure. There has been a couple of missed tackles, so I'd say they had a word, the Clovers in particular, behind the post around that, and have a chance now to get up and try and get possession back here.
And you're bringing kicking it off and going deep with it, and it's over the head of Cian Jones and collected by Carrie Hughes, and Hughes flinging it towards Bríony King yet again. How many times already has she carried so willingly? Good work also from Molly Reardon cleaning up.
Yeah, Bríony King, she's just unbelievable. She gets you out of trouble with those big carries, always over the gain line.
Kick is into the bread basket for Aoife Corey, and Corey with a good step eventually goes to ground. Good counter rucking from the Lightning. McCarthy on the carry. Breen. This time the heavy carry is from Evie McGrath, and out the back door it goes, and is there a gap opening up, and Bevan Parsons has hands on it. Can she get it offload? No. She releases and goes again a second time. Lane into midfield, and Bottomer with the little show and go, and the offload doesn't go to hand, and Jemima Adams-Verling has to dive on it. It looks as though it's a very good turnover. No one in supporting, and Lightning have it, kicking that one clear. Corey's going to have to come and collect us. A lot of pace on that. Suddenly, all of a sudden, Courtney Greenway thought she was going to get hands on that. Clovers, but through Bottomer, takes 2. Back to Breen, and Breen putting the kick over the top. It's going to bounce it into touch. And before the game, Dennis Fogarty spoke about getting caught playing in their own half too often against the Wolfhounds. That kick from Enya Breen would suggest that's being addressed.
Yeah, and it's just a really good kick as well. You could see she was trying to get Anna McGann, give her the signal to get up on that. And if she left a bit earlier, it might have been a little bit contestable. But certainly I think they'll back their line out as well here. And Enya Breen has had a great start. You can see her in the backfield just controlling everything. And really that boot is unbelievable to have on any team.
Bríony King goes to the top and collects it, and into midfield it goes, and Hughes is on it and popping it back inside. Another big carry. Lightning queuing up, offering carriers all the time. And when Owen, the latest, making yards, the number 7, Hughes. That dink is over the top, perhaps a little too far, and Corey gets her boot to it.
Retreat.
It's bouncing and collected by Carrie Hughes. Taken out of the 22, a little show and go, and steps outside of Corey. Corey does well to get hands. Carrie Hughes showing a great turn. And Aoife Corey is down and has stayed down, and the referee has called for time off.
Yeah, hopefully nothing too bad here, because she's had an unbelievable start. She's been catching 2 really high balls in the backfield and carried them back, gaining metres, but hopefully the referee blowing the whistle sharply always makes you a bit nervous.
Yeah, I just wonder, has she just about managed to get hands on Carrie Hughes? Did a trailing heel catch her as Carrie Hughes went to ground?
Yeah, she done well to get her hands on that as well. She was just slightly stepped and able to, had the willpower to get back and make that tackle. But when you're behind a player, as you said, it could be the leg, but it also could be the way she fell on any part of the body part. But look, hopefully she's not too bad, but Clovers will certainly be happier with that, I suppose, last couple of minutes performance as well. The continuity, the tip-ons, how they're trying to attack Gwalia, but the defence has been quite resilient.
It really has. And referee explaining to Ruth Campbell what's going on. We might get a chance to have another look at this. Aoife Corey sitting up. Yeah. Lovely little dink over the top, and it was good pressure, but Carrie Hughes more than able for juggling a little bit, and then this lovely little step show and then go. And it's a fantastic scrag tackle just about.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a shot to the ribs, you know, that old kick from behind. You can see, as we saw, Siobhan McCarthy was putting tape on her knee there, so she didn't seem too concerned. So hopefully we'll see Aoife Corey up to her feet. But just on Aoife Corey there, it was so unlucky the little bounce of the ball could have got out, and it would have been a fantastic kick. But in the backfield, you can see Carrie Hughes is covering that really, really well.
Yeah, the Aoife Corey is good to continue. So a momentary scare there, as we can see. Yeah, that's just a bump from the hip into the head. But she's good to go, is Aoife Corey. And so these 2 front rows, well, this is the part that both me and you were excited about, Fiona. You love to see a good front row battle.
Yeah, I think we're the only ones, Dan. No one has ever really said that. But yeah, the first scrum in particular, both front rows were really good, really tight and low, but they haven't gone after scrum yet. You can see they're just happy to hold it out and feel each other out for the first couple.
King's pop to Jones, and Jones has conceded that one, and suddenly there's an option, the little dink over the top, and the ball is knocked on yet again.
No advantage.
The referee says no advantage. We're coming back from the original knock on, and for just a moment, that's the first real slip we've seen from Gwalia Lightning, who have been immaculate both in attack and defence thus far. And that's the first error they've coughed up. I think that scrum was just starting to creak under pressure when Briony King picked it from the back, and that haste might have led to the error in midfield.
Yeah, and I think it was Webster that was trying to do a line as well. There was a slight gap there, and we see the kick by Alana McInerney. I've coached her many years. I've never quite seen that kick. She's probably better off running those lines, but look, it's back from a Clover scrum, and you can see how they're set up. They'll probably try and hit wide straight away.
Lane to Jemima Adams-Verling, and Breen to Corey, back on her feet and running hard line straight away as Lane goes again. Step back inside from Breen. McInerney, and it's awkward between McCarthy and Bottomer, but it is collected. Lane is there, fast again. Big, strong carry.
Tackle blue away.
Murphy.
Step, push on her nose.
Bottomer. And a lovely little one-handed offload from Bottomer to McCarthy, and the ball ripped by Briony King. Totemic so far in this game. Another heavy carry again from Allo Pearce, try scorer for the Gwalia Lightning.
No, Green,
this visiting team is very much in the mood to go.
Yeah, some of the clear outs are so good. You can see both teams want to play really quick ball, so they're trying to clear out straight away and get going.
Once again, Gwennon Hopkins absolutely loving the work. That one's dropping and really well collected by Bevan Parsons and gets the offload. A little show and go. Evie McGrath popping it up. It's really well done as the Clovers get some continuity. Big clear out lane into McCarthy. McCarthy tipping it on to Adams Verling. Beth Buttimer attacking the fringe.
Ball is available.
And into midfield, and Enya Breen with the cross field kick. This one is going to bounce awkwardly.
22.
It was contestable and it looked for half a tick, as though Anna McGann might be getting on that, but just a little bit too far in front of her. That being said, territory is a massive part of this game.
Yeah, huge, and I think it was the correct option by Enya. It's no harm in feeling out the backfield early on, even though they did have numbers, but I do feel like we need to get it's wide, so she needs to get a little bit of a run on that Anna McGann and really go after it, because if she can get any sort of a bounce, she'll be in the corner with her speed. But look, I think both teams, as I said, the first few minutes trying to feel each other out in certain areas, and we've seen the Clovers in particular trying to do tip-ons, a little bit Buttimer out the back. Siobhan McCarthy maybe should have held on to that, but if she got Enya Breen away, then it was a try under the post. So it's those 50-50s, and with Gwalia in particular, they're just really good at breaking that gain line and carrying hard when they're in that contact zone.
Well, the physicality that you've just mentioned already taking its toll. Jenny Scoble a little slow getting up to her feet and her shoulders being tested, but she is good to continue, and what a power forward she is in that front row.
Yeah, just an unbelievable scrummager as well, and to have someone like that, any of those girls on Gwalia, when I've seen them close to the line pick and going, their body height, they get so low and really try and break through that contact when they are in there.
Niamh Murphy now on the receiving end of treatment, and we said it, it's a very, very physical game. We're only 10 minutes in and we've already had 3 injury stoppages.
Yeah, look, Heather actually, the physio there, used to play with Ireland. She was in the World Cup. She was an unbelievable back row, and I know her herself, she'd be saying, put a bit of tape in it or a bit of spray on it, it'll be grand. I remember when we were playing in New Zealand, her finger in the World Cup, her finger was hanging out the side and she just put a bit of tape in it. But I think if you're a physio, you get away with doing stuff like that. She said, I know, I'll be grand. I think an operation she'd to fly home and get, but an unbelievable player, and Niamh Murphy is the same, just so physical and running those hard lines.
Well, thank you for ruining my lunch, Fiona Hayes. The put in to the line out will be from Molly Reardon and Gwalia Lightning inside their own 22. 100% success rate so far at their lineouts, and that continues. Brianny King going highest to collect at the top as they set up a maul and look to get some yards. Cian Jones, little dink, lovely little pass. It is an outstanding offload, and their numbers queuing up on that. However, is well defended, and Lane on the return with a little snipe, stepping, and there's a high tackle advantage here, I think. Referee does have the hand out. Advantage is coming. And Clovers know they have it for free now. And referee, well, it was excellent work at the breakdown. Gwennon Hopkins, I think, yet again, but yes, back for the high tackle.
Blue, high tackle.
Yeah, they're really good at targeting that breakdown. I spoke about it pre-games. Gwennon Hopkins has had a line break. She's been all over a couple of steals as well at that breakdown, but brilliant there by Emily Lane. I think it was a little bat back by Beth Buttimer just when you talked to her, caught down in that narrow channel. Emily Lane, her footwork to get her out of that area is unbelievable. You can see here, just as she picks the ball up, it's that right to left step inside, and immediately thinking, I need to get down here and hold on to the ball to recycle it. But a high shot just went in before it.
Kat Richards is always going to be a threat down that wing as the Clovers send in their first attacking option. Here's to see there's their set piece go. Ruth Campbell takes it off the top, and it's maul time. But a super maul defence on the initial shove from Gwalia. It's static from the Clovers. Lane wants it at the back. They're narrow in attack, are the Clovers. Lane, little show and go. Murphy is caught by Carrie Hughes. Hughes looking to stand up and create the maul. Ball is available. 5 metres out, and the Clovers are starting to stack up. Lane through the hands onto the wing. McGann steps inside, can't get to the finish line, just short. Super tackle from Carrie Hughes for a finish. Clovers, I was going to say inches short, but they weren't. In fact, they were over the line and held up And that, since that rule came in, it's been something of a, it really is rewarding defences, isn't it?
100%. It's my, as a coach, it's my absolute pet hate if someone goes over too high and gets held up on the line. Unfortunately for Aveen McGrath there, she did. But look, they get the ball back and they'll have another chance to try and attack, but they need to get a bit lower in the body height there.
Jemima Adams-Verlin collects her own knock back. And now Breen through hands, and that's better from Clovers, stepping this way, and that's superb work from McInerney. Lane to Breen, Breen to Parsons, it's intercepted, and the tackle had to be made. Is ball available? Anya Breen puts a foot in touch, and Nikita Prothero gets the props from Brianny King. It's a super tackle under pressure, and there will be possession to Gwalia Lightning. They've weathered that little bit of a storm from the Clovers, and they've come out the other side unscathed.
Yeah, look, it was a great read. As you say, it's those 50-50s. If you just look here, Enya, it's the right idea. She would have put her away, but it was just such a great read by Carice Hughes that it's one of those things, and gets the ball away. Could have been a knock on in the tackle also.
Beth Buttimer carries and steps and does a little roll on the ground. Ireland call-up announced during the week for Buttimer. She'll be delighted with that and looking to make an impression yet again. And Clovers now starting to gain some momentum. McCarthy on the carry. Out the back door. Lovely little pop-up from Murphy. And queuing up, it's Bevan Parsons off her wing. She's shy. Once again, Clovers on the attack. And numbers queuing up. McCarthy has knees on the ground. Referee says release. And surely this time round, Murphy. They don't want to get caught over the line yet again. Brianny King doing her best. It's gone narrow again and over the line. And have they got it down? They have. The try is scored. And it's Beth Buttimer, who we just mentioned, called into the Irish squad looking to make an impression, and she finishes that. And for just a few minutes there, it looked like all that pressure was going to be for nothing. Gwalia were very, very set. They looked so organised, and Beth Buttimer has managed to find a way over the line, and with a kick to come, a chance to level the scores again.
Yeah, just great work in here. You can see the defenders were unaware to put her hand, but Beth Buttimer realised that the ball was out. Really good awareness of her to pick it up and float to that right hand side, and in that contact area she's had a good few carries already, and as I said, when she carries she's so low to the ground it's very, very hard to stop.
Anya Breen's first test from the tee. Right hand side of the posts. Looks like she's got that one well, catches it well, and levels the scores at 7 apiece. We said it was going to be close.
Yeah,
still very early,
it's
obviously.
Still early doors, but it's a great kick from Enya. You can see, you know what, both ends have been really good. Carice Hughes defensively has done some really good work, and Enya's the same. She's controlling things in that backfield, and be delighted with that kick as well over the post. That first kick can always be a pressure one, even if it is in front of the post. It just sets the tone, really, doesn't it?
Says the prop as the ball is kicked off into the Clovers 22. With apologies to props all over the world. McCarthy, the little tip on, doesn't go to hand though, and Anwen Owen is straight on it. Rolling on the deck, can she get the ball back? Sian Jones whips it, skipping two and out to the wing. Lovely little step back inside Richards, lightning quick on her feet. And the Gwalia looking to get straight back at the Clovers. Defence is going to be important for the... And the knock on, well, very, very unfortunate. It just sort of came loose in front of Kelsey Webster, I think.
Yeah, you can see, look, Siobhan McCarthy obviously gave that knock on again though to plan, but she targets the ball with Beth Buttimer there to put pressure on, and unfortunately it just lands on Reardon's arm and goes forward. But it's if you keep the ball alive in those areas, you know, they can create moments of magic. But that probably was a time where you should just let it loose, set down, and let each other find the shape again.
Something tells me this Gwalia team doesn't like playing by the book. It's a cut loose kind of team, and that's a massive, massive scrum. The referee is going to go for the reset, but that was a huge, huge shove from Gwalia.
Yeah, it's the ball wasn't in, so I would have thought that maybe it should have been a short arm free kick. But look, I think he's just having a word with both props, looking at maybe the Clovers going backwards even in that case. But you can see exactly what Gwalia Lightning are trying to do now. They'll have to get really low because they're going after this scrum. And I spoke to you, Dan, earlier. The scrums have been really good from both teams, but no one has really gone after a team, and they just showed their colours here a little bit too early, but it might happen again.
Lane with the feed, and it is a big scrum effort, and Lightning have absolutely poured all the way through and get the reward for it. Well, they laid down a marker early in the reset scrum, and Bryony King congratulates her team. It was a massive shove, Fiona.
It was really good, and you could see the initial shove, they didn't really get that power that they wanted, but the minute the ball came in, they kept chasing their feet and came up trumps with that really good scrum. It's the height, as you can see by them, they're so connected, so low, very hard for the Clovers to stop as they popped up and probably a little bit too high themselves in the scrum.
Surely now going to keep players on the ground, not competing. Ball is spilled backwards, and it is there to be collected, and that is a real wasted opportunity for Gwalia Lightning. Clovers are going to clear their lines. Lane with the box kick, dropping into Richards. Richards sets off, looks at what's in front of her. Can she go? Boy, can she. Ball is on the deck. Anwen Owen acting as scrum half. Piers on the carry. Reardon out the back door. Webster not making the yards she would have liked, and there's interference. Or not rolling away, and the 10 metre, and the break is on, and Sian Jones takes it and goes and makes the 10 and has the advantage as she was played before 10 metres. So there is advantage coming to Gwalia Lightning directly in front of the posts. Reardon isolated, players coming in to support. Jones is quick thinking, made the yards and has set up a perfect attacking platform, and rolling out of the tackle was Ciara Pearce.
Stay on.
The try line begging now for Lightning. Tip up, tip on. Short of the line. You can hear the coaches shouting, don't go over. And they have gone over, but it's held up. Advantage was coming, and I think the referee is going to have a word and maybe even go for the pocket.
Yeah, he might just be talking through Campbell there about maybe offside, and then obviously that quick tap as well.
And there is the yellow card as expected. And that is a real hammer blow. Hailish Quinn goes out.
Blue.
Yellow carded.
Blue. The penalty is here.
And so back at the 22. The referee deemed it cynical enough to go straight to the pocket. Fiona, you disagree?
Yeah, just because it was so far out and there was two people in the backfield there. But look, I think it's just a modern game. If there's any bit of a line break, they tend to, if players are trying to slow that down or against the laws, they'll do that. And I was wondering, they were setting up for the quick tap 5 metres out, but probably when you talked about the scores, Dan, in recent games, probably the kick for post is the correct decision.
Well, all the credit then must go to Sian Jones. We said she was lightning quick before the game. That's the pace she has, the number 9. That's Carrie Hughes. Gets everything she needs out of that and more to take the score out to 10-7. You know, we've said it before, and I don't want to over-labour the point, but 4 points and 5 points in the previous game, every single score is going to count.
Stay on, please.
Yeah, and it's such a good day for kickers as well. Like, if you can get up there and discipline is bad in one team, you might as well keep tapping away at them, and Carice Hughes from that angle is really good.
Really well collected from Ciara Pearce. All 8 of these Gwalia Lightning forwards have just relished carrying ball. Sian Jones drops this one in front of me for Corey, and Corey collects and steps. It's really outstanding work from the fullback. Up to the 10. Emily Lane played behind the ruck, and that one, well, there's obvious and then there's very obvious.
Yeah, you can't get away with that one anyway. But look, as I said, they're still in that feeling out what the referee let you get away with phase. But Emily Lane in particular is really good with letting the referee know if she can feel any hands or anyone coming through that ruck. And ball wasn't picked, so correct decision in the end.
Never met a scrum half who couldn't do that, and the kick from Enya Breen doesn't find touch and instead is going to be returned, and Nikita Prothero sets off, makes 23 metres lightning quick from the fullback.
Outside 9. Use
How many times am I going to say lightning in commentary to cut that out early? The box from Sian Jones. Ball bouncing awkwardly backwards it goes, says the referee, and available to play, and it is picked up, and suddenly there's a bit of space on here in green and red jerseys, and the break from Bevan Parsons steps outside and sides past Kerry Hughes and touches down in between the posts out of nothing. The ball was spilled, it was loose and bobbling around. The Clovers kept their structure and Bevan Parsons saw a gap. She doesn't need to be asked twice, sides through, and that's a real gimme. A freebie for the Clovers.
Yeah, just unbelievable play here. You can see there was probably Ruth Campbell, but watch Aoife Corey. Bounces on the ball, footwork, picks it up, and obviously there's space. Ava O'Flynn with the little tip on. Bevan Parsons, there's absolutely no one going to stop her from that range, especially with that step out to in, which she has. And just a really good finish, especially with someone in the bin to go up like that as well. It's bouncing on that, or jumping on that bouncing ball.
Well, it's an absolute coach killer. For Gwalia, having taken the lead and seen a Clovers player go to the bin, they would have been hoping to build and instead find themselves trailing yet again. Well, trailing for the first time in the game, 14-10. That ball loose and then unstructured. Corey does so well in the tip on. Outstanding work. Eva Flynn just finding the hands of Bevan Parsons.
Yeah, she's a really good player. I said about her before, she actually started on the wing and she converted to that second row with UL Bohemians and has excelled there, and certainly those skills you can see at that backline skills attack, to have someone that has played in the backline and throw them in the middle of the second row, I think is always she always has the ability to get that ball out wide if she's in those situations. Not that other second rows don't, I'm just saying there's an extra bit of quality around that.
It should be over here.
Fiona Hayes slandering second rows all over the country.
I will relate you when you've got about 15
Never.
as well, okay? I'll keep an eye on it for you.
And we do have a little time off. Chloe Thomas Bradley is receiving some treatment on the deck for Gwalia, but has gotten back to her feet.
Everybody good to go?
As we say, it's been a very, very physical contest in the opening 24 minutes of this Celtic Challenge Cup semi-final.
10.
Kerry Hughes, superb kick. It's threatening and it's bounced and knocked on. The work done by the number 10. High and hanging, contestable. And for just a second, I think Ruth Campbell looked up to see what was in front of her.
Yeah, I think that was Anna McGann there.
Anna McGann, excuse me.
The second row as well, you're trying to slander them there, but yeah, there is, you mightn't see it on screen, but there is a big sun shine here, and it can interfere with those, I suppose, directions when the ball is up in the air, but certainly she looked really disappointed with that, and especially on the back of that last Gwalia scrum, they're going to be under big pressure here, the Clovers pack.
Down a player also. The shove from Gwalia, this time not making the same yards, and Brianny King picks from the back and feeds it to Jones, and Jones feeds Webster, and Webster fighting for her feet. Murphy has to bring her to ground. Kerry Hughes picks it off her ankles and finds Prothero, and Prothero steps really well. Let's go, and goes again, and Nikita Prothero saw the gap was on and gets the pop up. Gwalia queuing up. Pierce. This time the momentum slowed somewhat for the visiting team. Brianny King. Sive McGrath does the work needed. Kerry Hughes. Lovely little insight to Isla McMullen. And it's Chloe Thomas Bradley back on her feet and back in the action on the carry. Piers yet again. Brianny King. Good stop that time and slowing the ball down cleverly. Molly Reardon fighting for every inch yet again. Jones looks one way and then the other and finds Prothero, and Prothero looking to step outside. Bevan Parsons says absolutely not. And is the ball available to be ripped? It is, and it has been ripped. And that is outstanding work from Alana McInerney on the deck. Nikita Prothero just taking too much out of that ball. And perhaps Cian Jones opting to go down that side wasn't the correct option.
Yeah, it's brilliant from Milana though, targeting the ball, and even though she got to her feet, she was still able to get that turnover.
Whipped back, and then Breen has the chance to clear lines, drops it for Prothero. Prothero knocking it backwards instead of forwards. And Carrie Hughes, the work she's gotten through today, fantastic.
Keep an eye here, Carl.
Courtney Greenway caught. Huge work from Beth Buttimer. Massive effort being put in by the Clovers, and Gwalia having to work. Cian Jones has gone down. The referee
1 and 2 off feet.
says that the players were flopping in over the top. Jones slow to get back to her feet to number 9.
It's a really good that end over end kick is always hard to get, but you can see Gwalia keeps it in touch, and it's the next breakdown. We see Clovers, I think Beth Buttimer, Siobhan McCarthy maybe off their feet, and there might have been slight contact there to the 9, which the referee will always give a penalty on that as they're off their feet.
And Buttimer and McCarthy both teaming up to get that shove on, and then just not able to maintain their own feet. Such was their momentum.
Yeah, it's a funny one because sometimes you obviously will go off your feet, but the referee will give you a couple of seconds to be able to reload and get back up there. But unfortunately, they stayed and they made contact with Cian Jones, and she's certainly someone that Gwalia don't want to be losing in this game. She's been outstanding so far, just getting the speed, the pace of the game.
Well, there hasn't been one Gwalia player who hasn't been outstanding thus far in what has been already, with under half an hour played, an intriguing contest between these two sides.
I think they're all good. All good. You're here, okay?
Yeah, I think both sets of teams, their line-out has improved. Well, the Clovers in particular, the line has improved, and Gwalia are targeting the front. Just outside the commentators' curse.
Well,
option green.
Well, not quite the curse, Fiona, because you did say they were targeting the front of that line-out, and if you can get up and show any kind of contest, the referee has to look at where that ball is placed. And the outside hand for the Gwalia line-out, it was Ciara Pearce who'd gone up for it, and that was enough for the referee to say that's crooked. And so Beth Buttimer gets a chance. Sive McGrath comes to give her the orders.
Hold back line, okay?
They've set up a 5-man here,
Let's
and
go,
you can
Green.
see what they're
Form your
trying to
line,
do.
please.
The Gwalia are actually matching and trying to move along with them, but that front one is hard to defend.
Hold.
To the front and taken off the top by Jemima Adams-Verling, and into midfield it goes and through some hands, and that's a lovely little show and go. And now it looks like there's numbers queuing up on this side as Breen goes out the back door. Aoife Corey takes it into the Gwalia half. Lane quick to it. Breen over her shoulder. It was risky, but it was really well picked. And suddenly they're rampaging forward, and it's all up, numbers up for Clovers. It's spilled backwards, but McCarthy collects it. The break from Eva Flynn was outstanding. Are their numbers outside, taken off the knees and popped up? McGann stepping back inside, fighting for her feet. Lane goes down the short side, and it was an awkward one, but the high tackle advantage was coming. We may just
high tackle.
See, we got so caught up in looking at that break, but there was a high tackle in it, we can see from the referee indicating. And Enya Breen has to put in. It didn't go too well the last time Breen kicked a penalty, and the time before that the line-out didn't go too well.
Yeah, but even just before that, watch this break by Ava Flynn, but it was that pass to Aoife McGrath from Enya Breen. It took out like 6 defenders. You could see Ava Flynn was trying to offload there, and just really done well to the continuity to keep it going. And we might see the high shot here. It's probably just on Anna McGann maybe coming. Yeah, just Anna McGann coming back in there by McMullen, which is unfortunate because she just changed direction, but hopefully they can nail this line out at the front.
To the tail it goes, and Jemima Adams-Verling is the option yet again. The number 8 rising high, a superb maul defence from Gwalia, but it starts to creak, and there's a penalty advantage coming for collapsing. They go open. Murphy to the deck. Ball is available. McGrath on the carry. And her front row counterpart, McCarthy, not over the line. Numbers up. McInerney is there, and McInerney finishes it. There were numbers waiting, and it was a real routine. Finish it from here. And Alana McInerney is the one who grounds it. And that really, for a team that were briefly down to 14 players, Clovers have made hay.
Yeah, really well done by Siobhan McCarthy as well. She could have easily been dragged over the line, kept the ball in, and you can see the line by Alana clapping her hands, telling Emily Lane exactly where she wants it. Always going to get downward pressure. She's had a great start to this game. She's been involved in a couple of big clear-outs as well as big, hard running lines.
Alana McInerney gets the score. And then you bring this time to the left-hand side of the post.
Yeah, good for me.
Up go the flags. Extras are added. Enya Breen remains 3 out of 3 off the tee. And that makes it 21 points to 10.
Perfect, thank you.
And heading towards half-time. I mean, 21 points to 10 feels a little unfair in this Gwalia team who've been excellent in 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's just amazing as well with the yellow card. You'd expect them to push on, but I think you have to give credit to where Clovers has gone in attack. They've just upped it a little bit, and even though Gwalia's defence have been good, it's that breaking ball that the Clovers are jumping on and creating space off that counter-attack.
Kerry Hughes' kickoff was good yet again, but this time collected no muss, no fuss. Back to Breen. Breen's big clearing kick drops for Nikita Prothero, and Prothero just took her eye off it for half a tick. And that may be more indicative of some of the misfortune that Gwalia have endured.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, I spoke about it earlier. It's a brilliant kick by Enya Breen, and people talk about the spoil, but that end over end one is another hard one to catch because it's going really quick in the wind, and Prothero will be very disappointed with that. The previous two, she was under control, but probably could have turned the body a little bit sideways. Even if it did bounce, it would go backwards.
Not just under control, but she's also a kick return threat. The speed, the ankles, the way she steps this way and that. I think she had perhaps had that in mind more than receiving the ball. Huge push from Clovers attempting to get at this Gwalia scrum, but it's early, and the referee with the short arm.
Yeah, they'll be frustrated with that. That early push, they didn't need to do it. I think the last scrum in particular, they got a little bit lower, and they were able to hold that Lightning side, but when you give away possession like that, it can be very, very frustrating.
The free kick drops into the hands of the recently returned Ailish Quinn. The 7 back on the pitch. And then your Breen once again spies the gap behind, and that one is going to bounce. Is it going to go into touch? It is. And I'm not sure if it's 50-22 because I think it was passed back into their own half.
It was, but you'd want to tell the touch judge because he doesn't know that. But yeah, I think you are correct. It was passed into the half, but you know what? You'll take whatever you can get.
Well, yeah, the touch judge seems to have missed that. And it is going to be a Clovers.
Either way, it was just a
superb kick. Outstanding kick from Enya Breen. Nobody at home for Gwalia, and the ball bouncing in. You just feel as though they've built momentum now, the Clovers. They've got a couple of breaks, but they've made that luck for themselves through work and energy.
Yeah, it's interesting that Gwalia go up this time. The last couple of times they didn't bother going up in the air.
The maul was a fake, and it's popped back inside, and that's a big carry from Evine McGrath. Another McCarthy, on it this time.
It's good, work away.
This time it's McGrath. She's getting shoved forward. Ruth Campbell lending her weight to that. Is it a maul? The referee seems to have indicated it is a maul. Is the ball available? It's ripped at the back, and suddenly Gwalia go, and Molly Reardon gets the offload, and Richard steps back inside. Super quick feet. Gwalia looking to attack from inside their own 22. Can they get the numbers? And the ball spilled backwards. Available and picked up by McGann. And McGann is going to go for the line and doesn't. Stop short.
Knock on first.
The referee
Knock on
is
by blue or
coming
by
back.
green? By blue first, then by green?
I think for a knock on, or is it a...
Knock on.
Yeah, I think there was a knock on. Maybe the touch, he put it into him, but he let play go on, because I think if it was, Anna McGann probably would have got a penalty for a slight high shot here, just arm around the shoulder. But
that is right around the shoulder, and that one is...
So when I call set, you just
Well, for a finish, I think Gwalia are lucky.
you can't just
yeah,
set
and look, you can see the referee's telling him what he wants to see in that front row there. Obviously, he's saying he's seen a little bit of a hinge as well there on that hit, so certainly he'll be looking at these guys keeping it up and not getting that early push.
Well, the story of this half is a story that is
get the necklace off. We do need to get it off.
shifted.
Time off.
In the opening 10 minutes, it was Gwalia's game, their accuracy, the carrying. We have got time off,
Yeah,
and
we're here to play rugby.
is it a treatment that's happening as we have another little look at this? McGann just picking that so well off the ground and fending the first tackle, managing to head towards that line, but brought to ground. I think it was Kerry Hughes who's made that high tackle, gets away with it.
Bind!
We're back to scrum time.
Yeah, I think we might see a move here with Anna McGann coming in off her wing. It'd be great to see, because in space she's so hard to stop with that leg drive. Just outside Niamh Murphy, there is a little bit of space.
McInerney, and there is McGann, a little step back inside. To the deck she goes, and there is outstanding work on the deck from Courtney Greenway. Gets good low body position, gets hands on it. Cian Jones congratulates her, and the threat that was shaping up for the Clovers dealt with by the winger.
Yeah, brilliant by Greenway there. Just it's that body height. Cian Jones as well is saying thank you, but it's certainly that. There was I stopped talking. There was a bounce of the ball there. I thought Bevan Parsons would have been on her bike again, but Greenway, I think, has been. We talked about how lightning quick she is in attack, but watch her body shape here. She just gets in nice and low. Unfortunately for Clovers, they missed the clear out, and it's brilliant defence by her.
Well, it was a winger coming off their wing to save the day, but it wasn't for Clovers. Molly Reardon goes towards the tail. It's a good contest, and Jones, with their passing options cut off, steps back inside into opposite number lane, and McGrath thought she was on that and wasn't. Anwin Owen to Molly Reardon. Reardon met by Beth Buttimer, her opposite number.
No compete now, Green. No compete, Green. You're up. Stay on.
A little bit slower now as Jones whips it back to Carrie Hughes, and Hughes puts that high and hanging, and Greenway is too far to contest that, and Bevan Parsons looks up and sees, is there a gap to go at? And there is. Bevan Parsons, of course, races through it, driving the legs, taking it to the 10. Lane wants it out quick and gets it out quick. And the rip on the ground once again, another outstanding rip. That one from Kat Richards, turning it over for Gwalia. And if the Clovers leave that ball exposed, Gwalia are going to go after it on the deck. But slow for Gwalia, slower than they'd like. Reardon acting scrum half to Webster, and Webster popping it outside. Still inside their own half, Gwalia having to build from very, very deep, and Hughes with the little tip on. McCarthy with a huge hit.
And she's stolen the ball, I think.
And it looks like it's been turned over. Ailish Quinn has. Bryony King trying to get it back on the Gwalia side. Emily Lane complaining to the referee, as scrum halves do. 1 minute left in this half. Lane outside, lovely little tip on, and the skip pass is into the hands of Aoife Corey. Corey coming back inside, needs the support on the deck. Ball available. Campbell. Good tackle from Jenny Scoble. And still Clovers come, and they're queuing up in midfield, and Ailish Quinn breaks out of one tackle. Brought short. Lane wants it, complaining yet again to the referee. The carry is good, and the Clovers are going to see out this half very, very strongly as Campbell picks. McCarthy on the carry, stopped. Better defence from Gwalia this time round. It's a lot of static carrying, and suddenly it's not. Beth Buttimer is up and moving. To the deck she goes, metres short. Clovers attack, queuing up, ball bouncing awkwardly. Physio was in the middle, and the referee is going to stop. And is he suggesting that we're going to have a scrum?
Yeah, I think maybe there was head contact, that's why probably he came on, and I thought he was going to pick the ball up there and run the line to the field with the way he came into the Clovers attacking line here. You can see him.
Physio.
But Avo Flynn done really well on that pick up and probably could have scored, only the referee then saw him, so blew the whistle there.
Well, I do have a very brief time off and there's a water break. There is one of the Gwalia players getting that treatment on the far side.
Yeah, I'd say the referee's having a word with him there also as well.
Yeah, the referee is having a word with the physio.
Yeah, look, I think it'll be a scrum to the Clovers here. It's bang on half time, so probably will be the last play, so it'll be interesting to see will they go from the back at a scrum, or will they run one of those nice backline attacks and try and get it out wide to their wingers, because both players have been exceptional in space, but certainly you can't back Jemima Adams-Verling on the back of that scrum having a crack also.
Crouch!
So a scrum, hard to predict, as Fiona Hayes has just said. What's going to happen here? Jemima Adams-Verling is the obvious option. She picks and flashes it to Lane. It's a little awkward and Lane tips it on as Clovers look to get their momentum going. Which way does Emily Lane go? Heads for the outside. Good carry, Evine McGrath. And the ball, well, once again they've become isolated and there's holding on the ground. And Cian Jones have tried to kick it to touch and hasn't kicked it to touch, and the ball is available, and Corey popping it through hands, and suddenly the Clovers are attacking yet again, and Cian Jones just couldn't find that touch, heading towards the try line. Are they over? And they've been held up, and that's going to be that, and that spares Cian Jones's blushes somewhat that the kick doesn't make touch, and the Clovers, for just a tick, looked like they might score yet another try. But it's not to be, and instead we get perhaps a fairer reflection on the scoreline. 21 points to 10. Fiona, sum up that half for us.
Wow, it was frantic, but such exciting rugby was played. I think both teams were exceptional in attack, especially when it was like a counter attack or somewhere coming from the backfield. But certainly Gwalia's defence at times, even though there's 3 quick tries gone in there, they were exceptional. I think it was a battle of the backline is what we saw there. In a sunny day like this, both teams went wide, so more of that to come, I think, in the second half.
The second try, a little bit fortunate, you would suggest, perhaps. Bevan Parsons, the ball loose, bouncing. It's the team that pounces on it first. We'll have a look at that first, but before that, Bryony King, look at the little delayed pass. It's super work from King to get that offload to Allo Pierce, who just gets it over the line. It was a good reward for the pressure they had at the time, Fiona.
Yeah, and their continuity in attack, they held on to the ball, they were stretching that Clovers defence, but in here, I think even watching them throughout the tournament, when they get in, players like Ola Pro is there, like getting over the line, she gets so low. Bryony King is another player, their body height, and Reardon in at hooker is exceptional, but here we can see the Clovers our first try, and it's Beth Buttimer similar on that outside angle, keeping it nice and tight, but you have to say you felt Gwalia had knocked him out a few times, had put in a couple of big hits. You almost thought they would get the turnover, but exceptional. The ball spills, Beth looks, and it's that outside shoulder. Look at that leg drive, it's unbelievable to get her hands free as well and get downward pressure.
Sort of rolling with the tackle. This is the sort of lucky break as that ball bobbled very, very loose. A superb collection for a finish, and this little pass on. Well, Bevan Parsons, that line she takes and the speed she brings, any gap at all, if you're not going to be fronting straight at her, you don't have a hope.
No, it's the leg drive. Aoife Corey done really well to get it away here, and as I said, Ava Flynn tip on, but watch the handoff and just the sheer leg drive. Very, very hard to stop coming at full pace, and especially for a full back or a winger that's coming on that side angle, as you said, it's so hard.
The final try, well, the work from Siobhan McCarthy, unquestionable, managing to keep herself in play. when it's a standard defence now, you see a player coming, get them over the line, but get your body underneath them. McCarthy's done really well to keep herself in play.
Yeah, because you could see but the props here in particular were trying to target the ball and bring her back over the line, so she had to hold herself out, but she had been held up over the line, I think, in a previous one as well, so you always know I've got to just fight for my life here, I'll be killed in the review on Monday.
21 points to 10 is the half-time score at the Dexcom Stadium. It's been an intriguing game of rugby, and perhaps one in which Gwalia have been a little bit unfortunate across the 40 minutes of that. We will be having the second half after we show some highlights of the last round 10 of the competition, in which the Clovers faced off against the team playing later on this afternoon, the Wolfhounds. And when we've brought you that highlights package, you can rejoin us here in a beautiful sunny Galway and a gorgeous March day for the second half of the Clovers versus Gwalia Lightning.
That middle ground trying to decide, but a really superb kick from Dana.
There are back rows in the midfield for the Wolfhounds, and the ball is overthrown, and suddenly the break is on, and the try line is coming for the Wolfhounds. Linda Jugang picks and goes for the pillar, just short. The break still on, line still begging, and it is scored to the left hand side of the post. It is finished, and up from the bottom comes Grace Moore, holding the ball in hand. Grace Moore, after Linda Jugang's break through the pillar, and the Clovers defence just not tight enough, and that tempo that Fiona Hayes spoke about comes to haunt the Clovers.
Yeah, so quick there, you know, you can see here from, it's Linda Jugang with the power, but it's the ability to get the ball back. Grace Moore fresh over from there.
Keep an eye on the front.
That threat
On the line.
Dane O'Brien, and now also from Amy Larn with the boot, is for sure, and
Maul!
the lineout goes to Maul, and the Wolfhounds start to roll, and it's broken from the back and over the line, and the try is scored. The break from the back, and it's India Daly, the hooker, and who else at the back of them all to break and get over the line, but the Wolfhounds number 2, and you have to say, Fiona, that's deserved on the balance of play in this opening 15 minutes.
Yeah, but it's an excellently executed maul. I think
He
the
goes.
Clovers
Riley. Big carry. And the Wolfhound starting to queue up here as Dane O'Brien goes out the back door and finds Higgins. Higgins stepping and floating it outside, and Larn collects it, and Larn passes it, and it's all going to be all the way into the corner, and that is superb basic stuff, but really well executed. And Niamh Marley is the player who touches it down, the winger. Dane O'Brien on the pull back into the second layer of the attack. Higgins with intent. Larn joining the line, and Marley finishes it. It's a superb team try, Fiona.
Yeah, just a really good try as well. You could see that there was space on the outside, but the ability of Eve Higgins, dummy switch here and pop out. Watch Amy Larn, she just holds her line, squares up that last defender and puts Niamh Marley away.
Doing the captain's work, making the tackle stick. Higgins to Dalton. Aoife Dalton sliding through the gap, and Clovers just about managed to get hands on her as Lane pops it up for King. And now once again Dane O'Brien pulling the string, slices through, gets the offload. India Daly's on the break, heading towards the line, and India Daly is going to finish. Dane O'Brien sliced through the defence. Daly with the support line, and the lovely offload from Dane O'Brien. No one to get hands on India Daly. She gets her second score of the game underneath the posts. And that, well, it's a good try from the Wolfhounds, but questionable defence from the Clovers.
Yeah, it's just here. You can see between Beth Buttermer and Ruth Campbell that the Clovers in particular need to try and get to an edge. They probably should have gone up back, and then they would have created some space on the other side.
Ball spills out the back of the scrum, and Riley goes off and finds the pop-up for Dalton, and Dalton slices through the defence, has 2 defenders, popping it outside for Higgins. Higgins is going to go all the way to the corner. Is she going to be caught? What a superb tackle just shy of the line. Ball still available for Wolfhounds, through the hands. It's carried to the try line, and it is finished. The score from Erin King, finishing over the try line after a magnificent break from Dalton. A massive carry from Higgins heading for the corner. It was an outstanding covering tackle, but too many blue and white jerseys pouring through, and Erin King gets the score, the 5th try of the game for the Wolfhounds, stretching their lead to 29-0. For the Clovers, it is looking increasingly like a very, very long day ahead.
Yeah, you can see there just on the replay, both players bit in, and Aoife Dalton, no better woman to find space. But watch Eve Higgins here, Alana's chasing her down. Unbelievable from Parsons, she gets hands on her, stops her right before the try line. But it's how quick they speed up. Aileen Riley
gives Buttimer the orders. It's to the tail. It's a really good contest, and it's stolen in the air, and Erin King goes off, spinning into midfield for Grace Moore, and Moore to O'Brien. There's numbers queuing up as Higgins gets hands on it and looks to go through the gap, and does go through the gap and gets hands, and it's out to O'Connor, and Robin O'Connor is going to go all the way to the try line, finishing in the corner, bursting out of a tackle, Robin O'Connor. And once again, Eve Higgins, crucial in the midfield, delays the pass perfectly, and Robin O'Connor finishes in the corner. And we said it already, we'll say it again, everything they touch turns to gold.
Yeah, what a try. I spoke about speed about. Look at it, Robin O'Connor's finish on the outside, unbelievable. Yeah. But it's Eve Higgins again who's at the centre, that just drawing defenders. Great steal by Nisha Smith at the line out. Erin King wants that quick ball. Grace Moore moves it again, and it's here. Eve Higgins straightens up, carries that fend that I talk about. Lil Pop, and no better woman than Robin O'Connor to score in the corner.
Providing the cover, it's picked and it goes. Bottomer on the charge.
And let it come, go. Let it come. Good.
Ball is available. It's picked and it's gone on this side, and it's not over the line yet. Still short. Lane. Chance of a snipe. Whips the pass out, and it is finished by Bevan Parsons. Bevan Parsons gets the try.
Nice, yeah.
Lane thought about the snipe and instead spins it out. And we knew they were going to come out with something in the second half. That's a much better tempo and much better work rate from the Clovers, and they get the reward.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant by the Clovers to come out, and just the continuity in play. Big hard lines ran by Sive McGrath, Ailish Quinn with a couple of carries, Alana McInerney, as I said, making that hit, and Dana to start it all off. They'll be delighted with that. And what you notice as well then is that tempo was lifted. When they up that pace and up that tempo, it's very...
Sive McGrath thought she was on that one. Dane O'Brien into midfield, and India Daly goes on the carry. Riley comes back on this near side and once again finds Jugang. Ruth Campbell doing the captain's work, making the tackle stick. Higgins to Dalton. Aoife Dalton sliding through the gap, and Clovers just about managed to get hands on her as Lane pops it up for King. And now once again Dane O'Brien pulling the strings, slices through, gets the offload. India Daly's on the break, heading towards the line, and India Daly is going to finish. Dane O'Brien sliced through the defence. Daly with the support line, and a lovely offload from Dane O'Brien. No one to get hands on India Daly. She gets her second score of the game underneath the posts. And that, well, it's a good try from the Wolfhounds, but questionable defence from the Clovers.
Yeah, it's just here. You can see between Beth Buttimer and Ruth Campbell that
McCarthy again. And this time it's picked and gone from the base, and that's a very big carry, taking the ball into the Wolfhounds 22. Murphy nearly picked off, and through the hands it goes, and suddenly the try line is coming, and McGann is going to get over and finishes in the corner.
Nice,
Anna McGann, after a lovely offload, the pick from the base through the absence of a pillar, and the Clovers showing a little bit more of what they're capable of when they move that ball.
Yeah, really good finish by Anna McGann. You can see here in the replay that it's those big carries early doors. Enya straightens up. Aoife Corey has the ability to straighten up, suck in that last defender, Amy Larn. And
as the Clovers scrum, which has grown as this game has gone on, will look to get a shove, and it's picked from the back by Whelan, and Whelan spots the inside gap and shoots all the way and heads for the line and scores. And that's what you want to see a line doing, picking from the base, spying the gap, bursting through at a tremendous pace, and the replacement Whelan gets her name on the scoreboard. Outstanding individual try.
Katie Whelan take a bow. She's been waiting on the sidelines. I've seen her up on her feet. She's not even been sitting in that sub dugout. An unbelievable spot there. It's that into out as well. She'd know Amy Larn well from playing with her in Old Belvedere, but she has the ability to always snipe. That's something massive in Katie Whelan's game, and certainly you can see it here, especially when she gets outside the flanker. Very, very hard for
to the deck. Whelan stepping this way, coming back inside. Eve O'Flynn is on the carry. She's stopped. Hands again, outside, and it's going to be finished. Anna McGann reaches with one hand and grounds it. And once again, you'll be wondering, is it grounded? But I'm pretty sure that one gets all the way to the ground, and the Clovers get a bonus point try. They're not leaving with nothing today. Anna McGann finishes in the corner. Excellent continuity play. Evo Flynn heavily involved, as she has been since she came on.
Right in the middle of the
Lovely pass from Breen. McGann stretches with one arm.
Yeah, really good finish there, but I think you got to take your hat off to Katie Whelan as well. She'd added that pace, added that tempo. Every ruck the ball has been moved.
Has been a tough day at the office, but not without certain bright spots for the Clovers in the game. The conversion is pulled wide, and so
Thank you very much. Thanks.
the Wolfhounds get the result with a big scoreline. 7 tries scored. Ruthless in the 22 all in the first half. Only managing the single try in the second half. And outscored by their opponents in the second half. But for the Clovers, that mountain was entirely too big to climb. They are back out on the pitch in the Dexcom Stadium, the first of today's double header in the Celtic Challenge Cup semi-final day. It's 21-10 on the scoreboard to the Clovers over Gwalia.
Set blue.
You'd have to imagine that this Gwalia team knows they've got 40 minutes to put their hands up, and they'll find a gear to go to.
Yeah, 100%. As we said, their defence was good in that first half. It's just that getting on the bouncing ball and a little few more carries, I suppose, safely rather than offloading would be key to them getting that continuity like they did in the first try.
Release.
Pierce on the carry to start it off and rampaging forward, making huge yards. The second row. And to her partner in the second row, Ella Pierce. Sian Jones. It's gone to Isla McMullen and it's placed and available for Jones again. Carries Hughes on the inside pass. Prothero brought to ground and the ball ripped on the deck, and suddenly Clovers away and there is an advantage, I believe, for a knock on. And Beth Buttimer, little show and go, huge tackle from Pearce.
Knock on advantage.
Super
over.
work. Little show and go. Murphy to Bevan Parsons. Parsons to Corey. Corey for McCann. Then goes back into midfield. Captain Ruth Campbell on the carry. Molly Reardon doing great work to bring her to ground. It's not contested. Lane on the inside pass and Bevan Parsons spills it forward. And the knock on. And it was just a little disjointed.
Yeah, look, I'd say Anya Breen was out and those wide channels looking for it to go. I'm not sure. There was a great clean out there, so maybe that's when you know there's space, but they're probably just lined up. But someone like Bevan Parsons as well, it doesn't matter if defenders are lined up, her footwork will get around her. But certainly I think there will be a little bit frustration that they didn't spread it right to the left, as they did have numbers over and Anya was shouting for it.
So the first scrum of the second half.
Crouch.
Gwalia strong.
Bind.
Scrum was strong in the opening 40.
Set.
Sian Jones. Clovers got the shove this time, but Briony King picks it off the back and finds space to run into and through past Emily Lane. Good tackle for a finish. Jones with the kick. That one
Retreat.
straight into the hands of Corey,
Retreat.
who returns it at Carrie Hughes with some
Carry
interest.
back.
Hughes out of her 22. Straight line now into McCarthy, and that's got to hurt. Big tackle from the prop and the ball ripped over, turned over, and suddenly there's options as Murphy gets the offload and just can't get it to hands.
No advantage. Knock on.
And into touch, the knock on and then into touch. And that's 2 times the ball has been turned over on the ground. And in both times,
Okay.
you just wonder if
Come
the
off,
Clovers
please.
could have
Injury
been a
over
little
there,
bit more clinical.
Yeah, look, that was unbelievable work from Beth Buttimer in the breakdown. There was 2 on the floor. She still got over and got her hands around it. But just it's seen the space wide, and probably just 3 runners there, all running in the one direction. You'd like someone to have it cut off, but certainly Niamh Murphy done really well to try and get her hands free. Just unfortunate for Parsons out in her wing that it was just a little bit behind her.
Well, we have got some time off Briony King after that massive rampaging run, but she's limping and quite ginger, getting back into position, and
Water off, please.
that's the player you need when you're 11 points down with 40 minutes to turn it around. She just has to be firing on all cylinders,
Yeah,
isn't
okay.
she?
Yeah, that's
The
why
water
I
will be
think
off by the
they're
time
leaving her on. I could see it was a superb tackle by Emily Lane to pull her down here on the outside just when you thought she was getting free, but unfortunately she fell on her knee. She was calling to the physio, so hopefully Bryony King is all right, because what a player to have in your squad. I spoke about getting over the gain line, but it's her big hits, her defensive prowess as well, what makes her so good.
Oh, she's been outstanding on both sides of the ball today thus far. Bryony King, captain for this Gwalia side. The scrum fairly even, and King picks and goes yet again, offering herself in the lovely little ball to Isla McMullen. McMullen doing well against her opposite number Murphy, making some yards, and there's a penalty coming. You've got to hand it to Cian Jones, telegraphing to the referee. I can't see it, I can't get at it. There's a red and green jersey in the way, and Murphy, having made the tackle on Isla McMullen,
Green, not rolling away.
can't get out of the way.
Yeah, just unfortunate, but you could see Owen very clever for the flanker as well, getting her knee behind Murphy and pinning her in there. But certainly the referee, I think if you're lying there and it's slowing it down that much, he just has to give it these days. It's just all about how you tackle and how you fall, and Niamh Murphy done well here. It's like a double shot from Anya. She went in to try and target that and just fell on the wrong side. Unfortunately, as I said, Owen, you could see the back of her knee.
The little back knee from Alwyn Owen. It's very clever. Put in. It's really accurate, but into midfield it's a little less so, and Isla McMullen tipping it on. Massive carry from Owen, sitting down a defender, and the attackers now lining up for Gwalia Lightning. Jones to carry Hughes out the back door, and little show and go and through the gap, and Nikita Prothero, would she look back inside for Richards? She doesn't, but the chance still available. Jones, carry from Chloe Thomas Bradley, but that's a much bigger hit, and the ball available and picked, and that's a massive shift from the
ball, use the ball.
defenders, the Clovers defenders, but not able to capitalise, and turned back over again. Cian Jones does really well, and Beth Buttimer.
Just unbelievable by Jones to get that turnover. It was actually Ruth Campbell had a double hit. I think it was with Niamh Murphy there, and just drove through, and it gave the Clovers a chance. Then the ball was open space just when you thought they'd overturned it. Unfortunately, Cian Jones was in there and gets her hand on the ball and is so low to the ground, really hard to shift.
Use the line.
And so
Outside if you win it, Green.
we will have a line out, but this is the carry. That's a monster, absolutely huge carry from Alok Pearce as Lightning go through hands, and it's Pearce yet again into Isla McMullen, and suddenly Clovers are under pressure, and this is exactly where Lightning want to be. Molly Reardon, tackle from McGrath is good. Still blue jerseys lining up on the outside, and that one spilled forward, very unfortunate, but the counter is on. Ailish Quinn, better counter rucking this time, and the ball, well, hands in the deck I believe is the referee's indication, and so the penalty to Clovers and a chance to clear their lines, and Gwalia will need to get something out of territory and possession soon.
Yeah, and look, and that's why they're going so hard at the breakdowns. Obviously, they know they need to get their hands on the ball. They're 11 points behind, and they're trying to test the Clovers breakdowns because they've had so much pressure in that first half in that area, and came up with, I'd say, I think it was 3 or 4 turnovers they got on that ball. So that's an area that worked. But as you can see here, it's just this Clovers defence is coming up at speed, and unfortunately, it's a knock on in that contact area. And Ailish Quinn done unbelievable to pick up the ball again and try and get that out to space.
I think that is Beth Buttimer's race run, as we see Emma Dunnigan with ball in hand, and it's also the race run for Nikita Prothero. Unfortunate for her last involvement being a knock on. She's shown lightning pace and excellent defensive positioning for much of this game. Dunnigan's first throw finds Campbell to Lane. Enya Breen collects it at the second time of asking. Parsons off her wing, steps out of one tackle, gets knees on the ground. Lane wants and gets. Carry from McGrath. Breen gets hands on it, And the kick aimed at Carrie Hughes is collected inside her 22 and right-footed. That one's dropping into her opposite number, and Breen sizing up the defensive options and absolutely runs over the top of Kath Richards. A good effort from Webster to turn it over, but unable, and Ailish Quinn fighting for her feet does really well to make the yards. Bevan Parsons in off the wing again. Another big rampaging run from Aoibhinn McGrath. Parsons yet again. Good pop up. Corey stepping back inside. Ball is awkward, loose, but collected just about at the edge of the Gwalia 22. Clovers look to be getting back into the mood again. Campbell stepping back inside, finds a soft shoulder. Parsons, Murphy through the gap, thought it was on. Parsons has to ruck. Ball, however,
Clearly got a hand on the ball.
not being made available and turned over on the deck, and it's Molly Reardon, I think, who's managed to get hands on that. And the defensive effort from Gwalia to keep Clovers out time and time again has been outstanding.
Yeah, and it's a good spot as well from Niamh Murphy. She takes it back, straightens up, but unfortunately falls into the ball, can't get behind. And that's what I'm saying. This Gwalia Lightning team at the breakdown are so good. They're targeting that breakdown, and I think it was Bronnie King there that just gets her hands on that ball.
Reardon will have to put in to the line-out as Chloe Thomas-Bradley gives her orders. To the middle, and Bryony King collects it, and it may have been knocked on, but the referees missed it, and then through the hands it goes, and the ball loose and picked up by Murphy, and Murphy to McInerney. McInerney's pass is wayward, collected behind the gain line by Enya Breen. Breen straightens up, takes it into contact. Lane through some hands, little show and go from Murphy yet again. She's been excellent this half. The 12. Lane, little tip on from McCarthy is excellent. Spun into midfield, carry into the deck, it's released and picked up yet again from McGrath. McInerney out the back door. Parsons, Gwalia numbering up, Enya Breen, it's 2-on-3. Breen does well. Lane coming back on the open side, and McCarthy to 5 inside for Dunnican. Dunnican heading towards the line, short. Lane popped up over the line, surely to be finished from here. Is it going to be held up again? I think it is, and it has once again been held up.
I think it was Ruth Campbell that's on the bottom of that. She's telling the referee he was 100% down, but I'm not sure if we have TMO here today, but I'm not sure if the TMO will come and intervene in that if the referee has made a decision.
Well, he is going for the TMO, so we are going to get a ruling from the TMO. Referee just a little bit unsure at the bottom of all of that. Now, Ruth Campbell seems fairly certain she's after getting that score. As the referee and the touchies make their way to the tunnel where the TMO video setup is waiting for them, and we'll see what angles they have.
At the screen now, Colin, but we're not getting anything.
Yeah, it's that. We'll see if she gets that downward pressure. Obviously, Gwalia Lightning done really well to surround the ball and get their hands underneath. I know Evo Flynn was there.
Certainly nothing in that one.
Yeah, and it's very hard to change the referee's decision.
Coming here now, have you got him, Paul?
Yes, there's clear and obvious evidence here, but we can see the crowd and all are in the background looking on the Gwalia subs.
Play it through, Stephen, that's fine.
Everyone's trying to get a better angle on this one. For Gwalia, this could be, it's still too early to call it the nail in the coffin, but
Stick with your
it certainly will be a hammer blow for a team who need to score to get back into the game. However, if the decision is no try, that could be the momentum swinging back in the favour of the visiting team. And the try is given. Ruth Campbell gets the score.
Yeah, it's obviously it's this angle maybe here that you can see that there's clear pressure from inside the goal line because she gets low enough. It's that leg drive and it's the ball there. Oh. Yeah, also I think the referee probably had an angle at the last minute that he was able to add to that, but certainly really good from Ruth Campbell. You could see that quick recycle ball the Clovers are doing, getting around the corner.
26 points to 10. Well, we knew Gwalia would have to throw everything at the Clovers in this half. They continue to do so, with Clovers who get first blood in the second half after 10 minutes, stretching their lead out 28 points to 10. And Breen 4 out of 4 off the tee, under pressure on the charge down, and now at 18-point deficit. Really, for Gwalia to be in this competition, to stay in this competition, they've half an hour to overturn that. It's not insurmountable, but it's looking increasingly difficult.
Yeah, as I said, they'll just have to get continuity in how they're playing the ball on those wide channels in the last few phases they've had. When they've had the ball, they're knocking it on. So I suppose it's just holding on to that and really trying to put pressure on their Clovers, because we know when they're anything from 10 metres out, 5 metres out, they're absolutely clinical in how they drive the ball, leg drive there.
Hold in front!
Lane back to Breen, and Breen doing as 10s do, long clearing kick. Richards stepping back inside, and a lovely little show and go. Richards on the break, that's outstanding from the winger. Facing 2 in front, gets the offload to hand. Molly Reardon on the carry. Corey has to make the tackle. Super work from Kat Richards. Ailish Quinn on the drive, looking to go through the middle. It's a good counter ruck, but Gwalia still have Jones, Pearce. Lovely step from Kat Richards to create this opportunity, and Gwalia will look to get at the Clovers now. Hughes outside to Isla McMullen, and it's through some hands, and Webster outside to Gwennon Hopkins to ground. Substitutions now making themselves noticed. Lily Terry on that carry.
McDonaghan getting her hands in there, very unfortunate not to get the turnover.
5 out still, and Gwalia have. And they slowed it down a little bit, but you still feel momentum is in their favour. Donegan coming up from the bottom of that as it's popped outside. Molly Reardon offering herself. Big push behind her own players. Ball is loose, and the referee says it's illegal. And he's calling for just a minute, and I can't really see what it was. Was it hands on the deck?
No, I think he's calling. Sive McGrath picked it up. She thought the ruck was gone now, and she got it.
Release!
Hello, Pearce. Try score in the first half, looking to get her name back on the board again, and it's out the back door. It's a skip pass into the hands of Webster to Greenway, but the referee says it was forward. And that is unfortunate for Gwalia.
Here we go.
Yeah, super defence here. You can see obviously this break. This is just unbelievable footwork. A tiny gap, and she just gets through it. And it's her ability. It's the tracking back though of Aoife Corey. You can see Enya makes the tackle here and helps out, but it's that here Aoife Corey gets her hands with Ailish Quinn and just slows everything down. And unfortunately, when they recycled and went wide, it was slightly a forward pass, but the referee was there to call it.
Well, Richards really lighting that up for Gwalia. And now the game slowing down somewhat, as you might expect. When a team has an 18-point lead, it's game management from here until 80.
You'd imagine that maybe the Clovers here will just go maybe one carry or else do a straight exit, but certainly they do not mind backing their defence when they're this many points ahead to try and stop Gwalia.
Big shove from the Lightning scrum. There's surely a penalty coming. Turned over against the head, and Lightning showing numbers and options. Greenway is on the deck. They'll need quicker ball than this. Suddenly now there's blue jerseys lining up, and it's the replacement, Crystal James, who's on the deck. Molly Reardon on the carry. As Gwennon Hopkins for company. Big shove from the Clovers. Ball at the base.
Their own players.
Sian Jones popping it up. Step back inside. That's good work from Anwin Owen. Emma Dunnican trying to get over it and can't. Turning to the left and coming back inside. Players queuing up. Carries Hughes. Hughes skipping it out to Webster. Webster into the hands, and it's going to be finished in the corner. And it's not, and it's into touch. The covering tackle from Aoife Corey was magnificent. Caitlin Lewis thought she was about to finish right in the corner. And Aoife Corey, well, the referee has said we're going to the TMO yet again. But at first glance, for me, that try is not scored.
Yeah, the touchy doesn't want to make a decision on that, but look at the work rate here of Aoife Corey. You can see she's inside the ball, she's had to bypass, and it's here just to wrap the body. I think there's just a leg over, and there we go. Yeah, brilliant tackle. It's just whether there was slight downward pressure, I suppose, on the ball before that, so maybe another angle will tell you exactly.
I just wonder about that. I didn't see it the first time. But from that, if that ball is on the line, it grazes the line. Grazing is enough. That'll be a try. We'll see it yet again. Webster, this is what the referee is looking right at right now. Webster's pass outside. Caitlin Lewis gets hands on it. Corey makes the tackle.
Downward.
Turns the player.
Okay. No foot in touch.
There, I just think for half a second that ball was touching that whitewash. For just half a second.
I don't know, Dan. I'm not too sure if I agree with that one.
Well, you wouldn't. We just see yet again. This is what they're going to be looking at as she's tackled.
Yeah, it's a tough one. As you said, a graze is good enough if the ball does, but it's when Aoife Corey gets her body in on Lewis and just turns her around. So I'm not sure that the ball actually tips, but I could be wrong.
As it comes up just there, I think that's shite. Like, that's short. It's just short. I'm changing my mind every time I look at a new replay.
Well, the two lads are over having a look as well. They certainly might come back with a decision now that could be different to what we saw.
Referee makes his way, and that is going to be try awarded.
Nice.
The try is scored, just grazing that try line.
We'll argue about this stand for years to come, but look, just unbelievable to get down in the corner. Try awarded. Caitlin Lewis has come on and just added that pace on the outside shoulder. Very unlucky for Corey. I thought she just got her over the line, but it's the ability, I suppose, to just change and get that ball down.
Outstanding work from Caitlin Lewis, considering Aoife Corey was coming at her at pace. Scored in the corner. It's a difficult angle for Kerry Hughes. All the way out on this touchline. Right-footed. She got the angle to bring it back inside. No, it's just outside. A hair's breadth outside the post. Very unfortunate for Kerry Hughes.
So unlucky, just some strike of the ball. We're high up here in the commentator's box, and you could hear that kick. It's just so sweet the way she strikes that ball. Very unlucky.
Eilish Cahill is in for the Clovers, as is Chisholm Aguero. No, excuse me, Faith of Yahweh. My eyesight is letting me down at this distance.
Yeah, and fair play to Eilish Cahill. She's just got her first call up tight head to the Irish squad. She made the Six Nations squad, so I'm excited to see what she can do here. And certainly scrum time, she'll add a bit more as well to that, change the picture for the ref.
Cian Jones with a long box kick. Corey was under pressure from Caitlin Lewis, who's had a massive impact since coming in. Pearce gets the offload into hands, and that carry
knock-on advantage is over
from Terry. And Gwalia now think that they may be a way back into this game yet. Hughes, skip pass outside to Richards. Back in at the halfway line. There's a Clovers player down in some discomfort in midfield, and the play comes back this way. We will see it stopped.
Yeah, I think it could be Alana McInerney down there in,
Roll
in the middle of the pitch, but we'll see if the referee stops it here now if it comes out.
Lily Terry on the carry yet again, and a penalty is coming to Gwalia. Penalty available, and with 22 minutes to play, 13 points in it, it may be game on.
Yeah, so we should see here. I think it is Alana McInerney, but we'll see what happened here. This is maybe what the referee's given the penalty for. Yeah, that's the penalty that we missed there. But just unfortunately, Faith OVO was on the wrong side, and he can't go for the jackal, and the referee's standing there to reward it.
Brief second she was on the wrong side of that was enough for the referee to say you've prevented a player protecting their own ball.
100%, Dan, and it's all about the perception as well, because sometimes if you're looking at other referees, if they even slightly move to the left, if that player on the wrong side slightly moves to the left or slightly moves to the right, they'll allow that poach to happen. So it's one of those things, I suppose, part of the breakdown, it's the referees with that decision.
Just seeing Anna McInerney just catching one into the hip from a player coming into the ruck. And she's back on her feet, which is good to see, but those ones aren't easy to walk off or shrug off, Fiona.
No, not. And Alana, like no better girl, she'll let you know if she's hurt. She'll tell you straight away. But certainly she's been having an absolute cracking game, so you want her to still be on the pitch. But yeah, looking at that as well, she got caught on the wrong side, so your hip can get turned. Anyway, she's telling everyone there, but she's been unbelievable here. So hopefully she can stay on for the rest of the game.
Carrie Hughes has the chance. As I say, there's been 13 points in it. That one dipping. Kept back in play by Bevan Parsons. That's outstanding from the defender.
Say again, Shane.
Oviawe on the carry. The referee says there's been a knock on.
Good call.
Well, it was Bevan Parsons knocked it back into play, but knocked it forward into play.
I think he was a bit slow on that one. Went forward probably.
Surely the touchy has taken him up on that.
I was looking in disbelief, but sometimes you can get away with those ones. But unfortunately, really done well to, I suppose, bat it and keep it in play, but just went a little bit forward. You'd wonder.
She's done really well to jump up and bat it back in, but
I wonder, is it a penalty sometimes as well if you've knocked it forward? But I don't know. It's a scrum anyway.
I guess that comes down to a question of intent as the feed from Jones into the scrum, but both front rows going down.
Same scrum.
Considering the effort Gwalia have put into these scrums, Eilish Cahill will know the work that's cut out for her. But the fresh legs of Crystal James against the fresh legs of Eilish Cahill, it's a battle to watch in this upcoming scrum.
Crouch.
Yeah, look, as I said before, she's just got her first call up, so this is an area of the game that's quite good. She'll be trying to make an impression here and just even sustain and hold that pressure from Gwalia. Into midfield, and Carrie Hughes delays the pass, and Greenway thought the gap was on for half a tick. It looked like it was. Alwyn Owen on the carry.
Roll away, 19.
Doviawe makes a big hit and rolls out of the way. Lily Terry, she was massive when the Gwalia met the Wolfhounds earlier in the season. A huge carrying game, a huge carrying threat. Bryony King on the carry. Now Gwennon Hopkins. Clovers' defence is scrambling and doing really well to resist the building momentum of the Gwalia Lightning team. Yeah, they're doing really well to slow down the ball and stop Gwalia getting quick ball and then being able to fan out in defence. You can see Eilish Cahill there on the ball, slowing it down again. There is a Gwalia player down in midfield. I think it's Courtney Greenway. And there's another penalty coming. Hands on the deck against Faith Oviawe. But you would hope now the clock will stop for just a moment, as I think Courtney Greenway seems to be in some discomfort on the deck. Yeah, I think it's a similar thing to Alana. She was Alwyn Owen, excuse me. Yeah, she was carried the ball into contact there, and I think whatever way Faith Oviawe kind of turned her, just one of those uncomfortable ones. A massive carrying threat all day, the number 7. We'll just take another quick look at this. It's been good continuity from Lightning. They know they need the next score.
Injury dealt with, and then we'll just get the water off.
Does really well Well, that was the penalty incident.
It's a penalty again. It's just, I think with the referee, and they're going to have to stop going for the poach if one of those players ends up tackling and falling on the wrong side, because that's 3 times in this half he's given it, and it can be very frustrating for you when you're on the ball, because you know you're on it legally, but unfortunately the first offence is the person being on the wrong side. So I think there needs to be a little bit more communication to Ruth Campbell there to let her know, get those hands away, because certainly I feel like Gwalia will be telling the referee that they are trying to slow the ball down and they'll want quick ball.
Well, we've just seen Bryony King having a little chat with the referee, so that would suggest that she's already in the ref's ear going, hang on now, how many more times are you going to permit that? That's 3. Surely the next one will be a yellow card, as Carrie Hughes puts it into touch. 5 metres from the Clovers line, and the tension in this game starts to ratchet up to the front, taken well off the top. It's a little trick play to set up a secondary maul, and Lightning head for the line and have gotten it over and have gotten the score. An outstanding try off a trick play at the line out, taken off the top and popped down to a secondary maul, rumbles all the way over.
I love this. I absolutely love this from Gwalia. It's unbelievable. You can see what the Clovers do. They bite in, but it's that little transfer in the air just over to Piers there, and it's drive. Everyone's in there, but brilliantly done. They spotted that the Clovers in particular are biting into that first maul. They've mauled a few times, and here we can see it just excellently done.
Straight off the training ground, executed to perfection. And there's only 8 points in it now, which makes this kick, well, I mean, there's still 20 minutes to play. There's a lot of rugby to be played, but this kick could yet be vital.
Yeah, and it seems like momentum has shifted as well in Gwalia Lightning's favour. As I said, they're holding on to the ball, they're making those big carries, and they're finding space in areas as well, especially that set piece.
Bevan Parsons does well to get up and put the pressure on, and it's enough to force Carrie Hughes to drag that one to the right and wide, which means it is more than a single score game. And that's presumably what a team wants. 20 minutes to go. There's a little bit of a safety buffer.
Yeah, and look, I think, as I said, momentum is shifting.
Stay on, please.
So the Clovers are going to have to lift it to another level, because this Gwalia team, especially when they're down in Clovers half, have been executing all the time and just been really physical in their carries.
Bryony King, speaking of physical in the carry, this time running into Eilish Cal, brick wall.
Use it, 9.
Ruth Campbell will need to marshal her troops as Jones puts the box kick but slices it. That one's bouncing awkwardly and collected by Eilish Cahill. Bounce of a rugby ball, and this time there's numbers on this side and it's spun outside, and McGann stepping outside of the tackle of Jones and bursting past the tackle of Kat Richards and eventually brought to ground. Super work from McGann. Cahill on the carry over the top of one would-be tackler. Advantages being played as Enya Breen sees a gap and goes at it. And the ball stripped in the tackle, but there is an advantage, a penalty advantage to the Clovers. And so an opportunity, well, suddenly this game is just swinging back and forth, pendulum style.
Yeah, just brilliant there by Anna McGann as well. Her footwork out in that, you know, I think she had a metre of space and she was able to use that footwork to get inside out and just absolutely turn her defender around on the back of that Enya Breen wide pass. But you'd wonder if the Clovers are saying here, anything you can do, I can do better and come up with something here off the training ground as well, or will it just be, yeah, I'm looking, there seems to be a +1 there, so we might get something, either a breakaway around the back or...
Yeah, look where Faith Oviawa is standing alongside.
We see Katie Whelan is on as well at 9, so she's someone who loves the swipe. I wonder, will we see it after this?
To the front and pop back inside, and it's crooked. It was off the training ground. The referee says there was a contest from Gwalia Lightning, and that's enough to deem that one crooked, which gives Gwalia the option of either scrum or line out, and they've opted for scrum.
You see, with those ones, I don't know if you need all the animation, the movement, because what you can see here is that it gives Gwalia a chance to actually get up in the air, although there wasn't.
There was no contest there.
Don't know what he called that for, but yeah, because I was saying even it just gives them a chance to get up, but certainly there was absolutely nobody getting up there, so I'd be pretty frustrated if I was Emma Dunnican there.
Put in. from Jones. Outstanding so far. Big shove from Ella Burns and Eilish Cal. That's a big scrum from Clovers, but really well taken out. And Isla McMullen goes on the carry. And Breen thought she was on it. Jones stepping into Eilish Cal. That's a mistake. 9 times out of 10.
Referee seems to have his hand out there, does he? For
there is a penalty advantage coming, and the referee has blown the whistle. And once again, Bryony King will be asking how many more. Discipline letting the Clovers down somewhat.
Yeah, that's frustrating because they were actually, came up with a big hit there, and then Eilish Cal, but unfortunately someone stepped and got offside in that.
Carrie Hughes' penalty takes. Just see, that was a massive scrum. Bryony King picks and goes. There's the first tackle. An offside line is formed from that. And yes, indeed, a player not recovering into an onside position. The throw to the middle is taken really well off the top by Lily Terry. Clovers struggling to deal with the power and down the blind side. A lovely little pop-up pass, and it was a little bit loose. Ruth Campbell dives on it and turns it over. That's a captain's work. Katie Whelan inside to Ailish Quinn. Quinn drives the legs. Whelan again. Burns on the carry. Makes a yard. Breen tip on to Murphy. Niamh Murphy does well. Clovers trying to get a stranglehold back on this game. Ruth Campbell again involved.
Backwards.
Cahill never saw a defender she didn't want to run through. Whelan. It's out the back door. Breen. Corey. McCann spills it and knocks it on. It is knocked forward and collected by Caitlin Lewis. Jones's box kick clearing. Is it going to make touch? It is. Superb clearing kick. An outstanding exit from the Welsh 9.
Yeah, that's a really good box kick there. Exit straight off the pitch. But you can see what Clovers is trying to do. They're trying to speed things up, but unfortunately everyone is just lateral in that, and it's just one pass, and what they needed was maybe someone to drop a little bit and have 2 options there, but they're trying to pick up the pace, trying to pick up the tempo.
Well, replacements all around. I think if my eyes don't deceive me, that's Gwennon Hopkins who's come out, as has Cian Jones. And what an impact she's had in this game. Dunnican picked at the back, knocked forward though. The throw to the front, not controlled at the front, and the referee says that went forward to be collected by Eilish Cahill.
I thought it went through Ruth Campbell's hands myself. I'm not sure if the referee is giving him those 50-50s at the minute, but you can see what Gwalia are doing at line-out type. They're getting up now, they're putting him under pressure, and unfortunately for Ruth it went through her hands, and the referee saw a slight knock on there, but scrum will be interesting. Gwalia were on top for most of the game. There's been a couple of changes now, and I think Cal and Ella Burns have really added to that scrum.
Stand up, please.
Now, the replay would suggest that the ball didn't go forward. It certainly was touched, but either way, we see the fully replaced front rows now.
They're all telling the referee exactly how he needs to ref that scrum and who's wrong there. I love it.
Prop forwards, auxiliary referees. Lily Hawkins is the replacement Gwalia player with no number on her back, blank jersey.
Set.
She feeds. 50-50 in that scrum as it's thrown into midfield, and Isla McMullen goes out the back door, and it's Lewis breaking out of one tackle and getting the offload away. Hughes stepping it outside to Richards. The tackle this time was better. Counter ruck. Good effort from Clovers, and the ball knocked forward by Pears, and that is really unfortunate. Once again, Caitlin Lewis has been electric since she's come on, breaking lines, breaking tackles, and you just felt that there was something on the way for Gwalia.
Yeah, just lovely lines of running here, how they square up, get the hands free. I think it was Alana McInerney bit in a little bit too early there, but unfortunately I think it's prayers here when we come back inside. It's that little pop pass, and unfortunately you can see tempo pace, they're trying to keep it up.
Crouch.
It's here off this, a slight knock on, but you have to say fair play to Katie Whelan as well. Pressure at that ruck time. We saw Gwalia Lightning do it all in the first half, but it was good to see.
First scrum penalty of the game is given. It has taken 68 minutes for a scrum penalty to be awarded, which will tell you how excellent the scrums have both been.
I think there was one in the first half, Dan, but this is certainly the first Clovers one, and Eilish Cahill giving a clap there to herself, I'd say. I think the front row, Ella Burns as well coming on. She's been really good in the loose, but certainly we can see at scrum time things have tightened up a lot, and it's great now we see Kay Flannery coming onto the pitch here.
I do stand fully corrected. Of course, there was a massive scrum penalty they got for a huge push in the first half. So that makes it one apiece on the scrum penalty count.
Back on.
Still low in the numbers in terms of penalties and scrums.
Yeah, no, like they've been really solid. Both sets of teams have got really low and just trying to offer resistance on each way.
And referee, I think, is going to ask for a reset because
get the ball in quicker, okay?
There was a lot of movement in that line-out. I'm not sure if he's going to give the crooked in here. He's going to talk to the touchy.
Wait for the ball to come in.
Nope, it's going to be a reset. Quicker, too much movement in the line-outs. And not enough of a gap.
Inform your line.
You can see Emma Dunnican is standing right close to Gwalia, so it puts pressure on her throw. She probably could take a step over towards her own direction.
Off the top, that one's better. And into midfield, Breen, Faith Oviawe on the carry. Stopped. Good ball positioning. Whelan has a little go. There's a gap and places opening up, and Parsons is on the carry. Eventually brought to ground. That's a really good tackle from Series Cumming. Clovers numbering up and into midfield, and Breen and out the back door, and McInerney stepping back inside of opposite number Webster. Up towards the 22, still not in. Whelan. Webster's in the way, and the referee has the arm out, and that's really good from Katie Whelan, buying the penalty for her team. Webster just picked the wrong way. Whelan followed her to the line and bought that penalty.
Absolutely superb from Katie Whelan. I told you that when she was coming on. She loves a swipe. Twice she's after doing it, but you can see the tempo, the pace that she adds. Emily Lane was outstanding when she was on, but to bring someone like Katie Whelan off the bench, here we see her doing it, and Parsons, and obviously in the replay we'll see again, she knows exactly what she's doing and hits that defender just in case the referee didn't see it.
Green 7. Wow. Green 7, substitution,
that's game
please.
Management, 8 points in it.
Green 7. Captain, time off. Green 7, substitution.
Gwalia
7.
Well, we said they needed a score. They scored. We said they'd need another one. They gave another one. They still have more in the tank.
Time off. Time
have Gwalia Lightning.
Okay. Captain, can you communicate your numbers clearly?
And as we see Eilish Quinn come out.
So 6 called, okay?
A massive shift from her. And in comes Rosie Searle. Player you're fond of, Fiona.
She's a great ball player. Can play 8, back row 6 as well. Just really good.
Advantage knock on.
Overthrown and knocked on at the back, and Brianny King comes carrying into Enya Breen. Breen does well to stand up to the rampaging number 8. Piers goes out the back to Isla McMullen, and McMullen to Webster, and Webster throws the pass. It's awkward behind Richards. Richards collects and looks to step out. Referee still has the handout. Ball available.
Release 20.
And there is Rosie Searle.
No, 20, don't go
getting herself involved.
Knock on advantage is now over. Hold, please, Green.
Referee is telling Hawkins to use it, and she does. The box kick makes touch. Another excellent box kick.
Yeah, I thought he did have his hand out for advantage there. Maybe he was just telling someone to go inside.
I think he was still playing the knock-on advantage because they hadn't made any forward yards. But it would have been a long way to come back, the width of the pitch to come back for that knock-on.
Well, look, yeah, anyway, it was Lily Hawkins there with a great box kick. It's just, I suppose at this time of the game, do you want him to be contestable because you've got, what have you got? You've got maybe 8 minutes to get up the pitch and try and get 2 scores.
Taken well off the top and into midfield again. Oviawe is the decoy runner, and Bevan Parsons. This time they're wise in the Gwalia defence. And another outstanding turnover. Captain Brianny King Gets in and gets over it. That's outstanding work from the number 8 yet again.
Wow, Bryony King, she's so good. You know, we spoke about her ball carrier, but just her ability to get in there. And not once but twice she was cleared out and still able to hold on to the ball.
Carrie Hughes skews the kick, but makes no yards, and Clovers will eat that up. Ball in play time is against Gwalia now as we click towards 80.
Ball is available. You pinned her there.
Hopkins is at the back of this and she's shaping to kick. Surely she'll want to keep that in hand. The box dropping into the arms of Enya Breen, who decides to return it. Of course she will, all day long. That one's aimed at Carrie Hughes. Hughes takes it out of her 22. Steps this way, looks that, comes back inside. Finds McMullen, and Isla McMullen is on the break and going. It's Kat Richards, Richards with the break on, and Lily Terry, and suddenly there's going to be surely the turnover for the Clovers.
Enya Breen again.
Enya Breen, phenomenal work. The break from Kat Richards yet again. Twinkle toes.
50-22 is on, guys.
Big boot. Is that one going to go straight for touch? It bounces and goes into touch. An outstanding kick.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, the quality of having
Blue
someone like
12,
Kate
substitution,
Flannery
please.
on the pitch at 12. She's come into, normally we're used to seeing her playing at 10, but Enya Breen gets in at 10, gets you that turnover at ruck, and Kate comes up with a brilliant kick there, but unlucky for Cal there. But watch the footwork, it's just outstanding all game. She's been so good, Kat Richards, unbelievable, but Enya Breen getting that turnover.
Blue
It has been
Time back on, please.
an intriguing, pulsating game of rugby. We knew it would be when these two teams meet. There's not much between them. Lineout is thrown and really well collected. While it was up for contest between these two sides as Carrie Hughes goes in and acts as scrum half. Hawkins, back to her role. Pass inside to Molly Anderson Thomas and outside to Webster. Is I thought for a tick the intercept was on. Kat Richards collects and gets a knee on the ground, does really well. As there were green and red jerseys lining up in front of her. Big chop tackle on Lily Terry. Again,
carry back
so
9
to carry and
use
run.
it.
These Gwalia forwards, box kick over the top from Hawkins, drops into waiting arms, and suddenly now the Clovers are looking up and seeing what's in front of them. And big carry into contact from McGann. Ball is available. Whelan to Flannery. Flannery dinking it in behind. Asks McGrath to chase it, which she does.
Blue, retreat, work. You gotta work back.
Is awkward. Whelan catches to Breen. Enya Breen spots a gap at Molly O'Riordan's shoulder and goes at it up to the 22.
Ball is available.
Whelan. Rosie Searle.
Guys.
Whelan again. It's a little bit static now from the Clovers. They won't mind.
Thank you, Ace.
As we tick over the 77-minute mark. Game management from here as Ella Burns goes on the carry, rejecting the first tackle from Hawkins. Breen tries to go out the back door and the ball is bounced up, but it's been knocked on, and Bevan Parsons saw the line in front of her. But Aoibhinn McGrath, well, just caught slightly out of position.
Yeah, really unfortunate there, but just slightly, unbelievable lines are running though. You can see 77 minutes on the clock. There's girls still fighting for their lives out there, but Katie Whelan is still trying to add that tempo and out the back, but unfortunately I think McGrath ran that short line.
Well, we've got a little bit of a gap, and as Molly Reardon makes her way out. Fiona Hayes, can you pick a player of the match?
Wow, that's going to be hard. There were some outstanding performances, from Gwalia in particular. I thought Sheann Jones at 9 was on real. Bryony King as well, but you've got to go with the winning team. And in that first half, Beth Buttimer and Alana McInerney outstanding. But for me, the player all game has been Enya Breen. She's just putting everyone into space.
The game continues here with Bryony King still fighting for her team. 78 and a half on the clock. Piers. It's flung outside, and McInerney thought she'd collect it, and it's down around ankles. And initial knock forward was from
green ball.
Gwalia Lightning. And so we will go back for a scrum to Clovers, and that surely will be what closes out this game and what has been a pulsating semi-final.
Yeah, there's been some unbelievable rugby played. Huge defences by both teams at times, but certainly I think the attack has been the winner today. There's been some great tries, especially out in those wide channels. And you know, I spoke about her. I didn't speak about her in that player of the game, but certainly Kat Richards was someone who was finding space everywhere today. Any chance she got into an area, her footwork was able to get her in and find that space. And Clovers will be pretty happy with the performance. They'll have things to work on, especially around the breakdown. Gwalia has shown up a few places, but certainly I think they will be happy with the win here.
Today's player of the match is Clovers number 10, Enya Green.
As the PA announces the winner of the player of the match, Enya Breen, as we'll see the scrum set up. Nope,
that's not stable.
We'll have a reset. And there has been also remarkably few of them in the course of this game.
And it's mad to see it happening on 79 minutes of the clock. Not that the props would know to waste any time or try and get a reset out of this ref. They'd never do anything like that.
Sure they wouldn't.
Yeah, but look, the camera's on Enya Breen today here. I just thought I spoke about her defence. She had a couple of turnovers. Her kicking game was really good and just got him out of trouble at times. And that passes out wide, beating defenders was brilliant.
Whelan made the smart choice, finding Bevan Parsons, and Parsons thought she was going to get over the line. The ball is awkwardly spilled at the back, but collected. I think it's Breen at the bottom of that pile up. There are still Clovers players offering themselves as we tip towards the 80-minute mark. Jemima Adams-Verling still out there, still going, engine on her. Alana McInerney stepping out of one tackle and another. And Alana McInerney, another contender for player of the match, puts the icing on the cake for the Clovers to send them to the final of the Celtic Challenge Cup. And the scoreline perhaps a little bit flattering to the Clovers, but they have worked hard all game long. They've been a threat, and Alana McInerney has been at the heart of that also.
Yeah, and you have to just take your hat off to the Clovers bench as well, Dan. They've come on and, two tries were scored against some, but when they needed to up the tempo, Katie Whelan came on, Eilish Cal came on, and Ella Burns settled that scrum. Emma Donikin at line-out time, and Rosie Searle added a couple of big hits. And look, I didn't mention her obviously as well, but Rue Campbell has worked all game long. In second row, just making hits, making tackles in that ruck area, probably not given enough kudos sometimes.
Enya Breen splits the posts to make it 35 points to 20. 5 out of 5 from the tee for the number 10 and the player of the match. It's perhaps a little bit flattering for the Clovers for a finish on the scoreline, considering how game for a moment early in that first half Gwalia Lightning took the lead and looked for all the world like they had a physicality the Clovers couldn't match. And to add to that, outstanding players breaking here and there across the park. And if there's been a 15-point gap between the sides today, for the Clovers, it's the job done. They would have been favourites coming into the game, considering their track record, 2 wins out of 2 against Gwalia. But they were certainly made to work hard for it. All of their scores. Got a very fortunate second try of the game to give themselves a lead, and they never lost it. Once they got in front, the effort became apparent. We can see the physicality that Gwalia brought as Jones or Brianna King carries, popping it up for Alloa Pearce, who was massive all game long, bringing physicality on both sides of the ball. Huge in contact areas, massive with ball in hand. The little delayed pass from Bryony King, and there's absolutely no stopping her from there. Certainly not against the size of the players attempting to make the tackles. For the Clovers, it was Beth Buttimer, crucial in the first half, rolling out of a tackle, just seems to be able to push herself out and just getting that grounding, riding the tackle a little bit, coming around the edge and getting it to ground. Super work from the recent call up into the Six Nations squad. This try, the fortunate one, the one that put the Clovers in front, gave them the lead for the first time in the game. Really well done from Aoife Corey, and the pop up into the hand of Bevan Parsons. And Parsons, well, the absolute speed that'll step outside of the last possible defender. Watch the little step in and out here, as you'll see from the tip on. Parsons accelerates, stepping, sees a defender against her and goes around the outside, widening the distance and finishing past Carrie Hughes, who was otherwise outstanding. And then Siobhan McCarthy fighting to stay infield, and Alana McInerney with her first try, the first of two today, getting that grounding on that short line. Hard, aggressive. And the pop up, straightforward. Emily Lane knows how to hit her target, and McInerney grounding it, finishing it. Outstanding work from the centre. The big shove, the one that was contested and looked at by the TMO, Ruth Campbell's try, was number 4. And then we saw Caitlin Lewis bringing the Gwalia Lightning back into the game. A lovely finish in the corner. That was also looked at by the TMOs. And from there, it looked as though Gwalia might have the energy to find another gear to go to. Caitlin Lewis's finish under pressure from Aoife Corey. Super finish. Just grazing the line. Enough for the score. And from there, well, Gwalia were in the mood. Little trick play off the top of the lineout. Switch. Set up a secondary maul. Big push. Nobody home for the Clovers. Well, so much to like about that little trick play. Alloa Pearce involved yet again. And the Clovers tried their own little trick play. They did finish with a score. Alana McInerney managing to stretch out 28-20 for a long, long time. And eventually the Clovers getting the score that puts a gloss on an otherwise intriguing, excellent game of rugby. Gwalia will leave with their heads held high. It wasn't their day against a really strong Clovers side, but considering how the games have become increasingly competitive year on year on year, it bodes for a very exciting competition next year. These two teams will want another go at each other, and the following season one can see the upping standards from, well, across the entire competition. The games have become more intense. Nobody knows that better than the head coach of the Clovers, Dennis Fogarty, and the player of the match, Enya Breen. They're pitch side with Fiona Hayes right this moment.
Well, lads, you must be absolutely delighted with that win, but how did you make of the bench coming on in the second half? I'll start with you, Dennis. I thought they added a lot to the game in the second half.
Yeah, look, I think first and foremost, it's great to get to a final. And I do think, like as we've done over the course of the competition, is making sure that the bench can make a big impact in this. So it's, it was credit to the players that bring in energy on, because I think we lacked a small bit of energy into the second half. So getting the guys on early was really important for us, and it kind of gave us that extra boost. So look, there's bits to work on, but we'll deal with that next Tuesday.
And just with that, Dennis, obviously the finals next week. Is there any area in particular that you'll flog them next weekend?
I will flog them. That's right. You're right. No, look, I think from a breakdown point of view, they really attacked our breakdown. And credit to Gwalia, they really hurt us at times. So look, that's an area, that contact area, where we're carrying. Like as we've seen in the last game when we played the Wolfhounds, we can't lack in that area, the contact, because they hurt us badly in the first half last or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that'll be a big focus for us moving on, and there's other aspects of the game as well where we need to bring forward into the final.
And just I suppose before I go to Enya, what impressed you most about today's performance from the girls?
I think how we grinded it out in the end. I thought, because we were under pressure, and we probably some bad moments or decisions at times, but we ended up kind of grinding it out. Cup rugby is very, very different than your normal league game, so for everyone to come on and grind out the win was really impressive. So credit to everyone.
Cheers. And Enya, unbelievable performance there today. I suppose just because I know you just look so happy out there. The last couple of games I could see there was, obviously you've been off the back of a few injuries, but you looked like you were enjoying your rugby out there.
Yeah, to be fair, in the first half particularly, the forwards kind of made it easy. They were carrying well, getting me on front football, and it was like an armchair ride trying to sit back and see space. So yeah, that's all I want to do. I play rugby because I love it, and I was out long enough, so it was been important for me the last few weeks to just get back and enjoy it, because that's why I play at the end of the day.
Yeah, and just even with your kicking, it was the pack and done a good few jobs getting you under the post, but unbelievable. What did you prefer more, some of the kicks, or what about that turnover right at the end? That was unbelievable out of you.
Yeah, I'm a centre at heart, so I'll take the turnover.
Yeah, it was class. And just even Dennis talked about there, you've played the Wolfhounds, I suppose, a couple of times. So from your own perspective, what are you kind of looking at for the team to improve in areas against them in particular next week?
I think, like Denny said, our breakdown, our physicality there is going to be number one, because if we can't look after the ball, if we can't put them under pressure on their own ball, then it's going to be tough no matter what team we're playing. They could have a tough game out here as well. So yeah, look, that's going to be a massive focus for us during the week, because to be honest, we probably gave away our ball too easy today, particularly in the second half and towards the end of the first half. So that's something we really need to improve, no matter who we're playing next week.
Well, fair play, lads. You got the win. Congrats.
Thank God.
So it has been a cracking game of rugby at the Dexcom Stadium. It's not the only one of the day. There will be the other semi-final. It's first against fourth. It's the Wolfhounds against Britton Thunder. We've seen Clovers topple Gwalia Lightning here today in a cracking game of rugby. Roll on the final next week. On behalf of Fiona Hayes and myself, Dan Mooney, who have been your match commentators for today, we thank you very much for joining us. The final score at the Dexcom Stadium in Galway is Clovers 35, Gwalia Lightning 20. We'll talk to you the next time.